Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Lost Everyone and Ended Up in Genshin Impact World Part 3. Before we start, please go support AndresFelipeSolanoDi for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 21. The answers only leave more questions. Issei. I never stop to contemplate how beautiful the sky is, right Kaneko, or should I say Shirin? Shirin. Issei-senpai can call me Kaneko as usual. Issei. I know, but since the relationship between you and your sister Kuroka was resolved, I thought it would be better to call you by your original name. Shirin. How many sisters are there? Issei. I don't know, both are yours, right? Shirin. Exactly, when I resolved the issues with my sister and found out the truth, I asked to use my name again because I feel more comfortable with it. I feel happy being who I am, but as for Issei, he can call me Shirin or Kaneko, but which of the two names do you really feel comfortable with? Issei. I guess Kaneko. Shirin. Then please keep calling me that, nothing should change just because I changed to my old name. Issei. Are you sure about that? Don't you think it would be weird? Shirin. In a healthy relationship, both parties think about the other person and express their opinion regarding what they feel. Those are the bases that make up courtship and marriage. Issei. Since when did you become so expert on these subjects? Shirin. It's because I care about Issei-senpai that I learned about those topics so that he feels comfortable and knows that we can talk whenever he needs it. Issei. I feel great, I have beautiful fiancés and good friends, I can't ask for more. Shirin. Is it still completely okay? Kaneko would look at him, showing a face with tones of concern. Issei. Kaneko, I'm fine, caresses her head. Shirin. Smiles. I hope you always know I'm here for you, snuggles into Issei. Issei. Inekomata is still a cat, looks at the sky. I wish I had told you, Kaneko, that I did have worries, many of them. Crack. The image of Issei and Kaneko together would break like glass. RDU. Subject is waking up. Issei. Hey, I wakes up. RDU. Question. How do you feel? How does your body feel? Issei. What? Where? Where am I? I looked around and then noticed that I was on a capsule inside a medical room which looked more like a futuristic surgery room. RDU. He's in the medical room, the drones brought him here when he lost consciousness. Issei. Is she here? RDU. Yes, he is currently 2 capsules ahead of you, he is still recovering, recovery is at 90%. Issei. Okay, how long will it take to wake up? RDU. Once you reach 100%, it will take no less than 10 minutes to wake up. Issei. Perfect. RDU. Plans to come back up? Issei. Yes, I have to get out of this domain once and for all, of course that will be once I destroy this domain. RDU. I understand, it will be beneficial for both, since my master would not have wanted to start a fight with the inhabitants of this world. At that moment a drone would approach with a cross-shaped crystal key. Issei. What is this? RDU. Please take it. Issei. The cheese. RDU. Now I hope that with what I say next you don't get upset. Issei. What do you mean? RDU. I took the liberty of looking at your memoirs. Issei. What? RDU. Don't worry, as a machine the scenes of perversion I saw do not change my opinion about you, since I do not consider perverted acts as something evil, but rather a need of the male body, as well as a sexual reaction of the man towards a beautiful woman. Issei. That's not the problem. RDU. Refers to invading your privacy. Well, I hope you don't take it the wrong way, but I had to verify the truth in your words. Issei. Haha. Well, I'm not going to argue with a machine and even less ask how you saw my memories, coming from the most technological dimension, it should be obvious that you have a machine at your service capable of doing it. RDU. Good, quick logic to grasp and understand the situation. Issei. However, next time I would like you to ask, and I hope you respect my partner's privacy. RDU. Don't worry, I considered the information of the life forms of this world as inferior compared to that of you as a survivor of another world. Issei. Sighed. Anyway, what is this key for? RDU. Is the entrance to other domains that I control. With that in mind, when you have that key I grant you access to all of them on the outside. Issei. Why? RDU. Let's say for security reasons, as you know the division of opinions creating 2 sides can affect me. Issei. You're talking about giving me access to your domains to help you when someone like Lu, or another, tries to destroy you and you can't do anything. RDU. Correct. Issei. Should I? RDU. In my database I have the information of your memory, specifically Lumen, and you talking about maintaining the timeline as best as possible. Issei. Shock. Damn, he knows. RDU. Consider this, my new purpose is to provide home and habitat to the survivors of the 12 dimensions. If I were to be destroyed, what would become of those people, especially how much the timeline would change with them roaming free more than necessary. In this world just by walking, they would already be changing the events. Please reconsider, this is beneficial for both. Issei. Damn keeps the key, there's no other way. RDU. Still from my perspective, the idea of not changing the timeline too much I think will be put to the test soon. Issei. I know, but if things change too much I will lose certain advantages, such as knowing the events and being able to draw up a plan on how to act. RDU. Well, one more thing, the berserker state was what caused you to faint. If that happened to you in the water, unless you and your friend had gills, you would have drowned. Issei. Well, I have to say that you were a stroke of luck, even so the berserker state can be beneficial for me in battle. RDU. True, and more so with that seal on his body. Issei. Signal. What are you talking about? RDU. Question. You are not aware or you wonder why you cannot use what you call sacred gear, as well as why your dragon powers are degraded. Issei. What was the goddess of celestial principles she? RDU. Error. Issei. Shocked. RDU. The goddess locked you up, but at no time could she interfere with your powers, since the universe and world in which she was hers, she did not have the right, nor the divine authority to take away your powers. The matter would be different if that world were hers, since you would face her laws, but it was she who had to accept her laws. Issei. This is not possible. RDU. I saw your conversation with Rizavam in your memoirs. I really don't notice anything out of the ordinary in your phrases. Issei. Rizavam. He never told me. Why I couldn't use Dreg. But why? Flashback. You will hear what I have to say. Go to I don't feel Dreg, what's wrong? I won't attack you, even if you're weak. After getting those objects I acquired all the knowledge inside and outside this world, past, present and future. Wait, so you know everything? That's impossible. Billions of knowledge or more in your brain should. It melted my head, but I hardened it, my body did. And when I knew it all, I admired it as if I had won. But I discovered that I lost. You lost. I knew everything, damn everything, so there was nothing in this world or outside of this one. To discover my curiosity was my downfall. I knew everything. How does all this relate to the current situation? It turns out that knowledge soon became more knowledge. I saw what was going to happen. I looked into the future, my defeat and your victory. So it occurred to you to change that? No. Because it was inevitable. I acquired more and more, so much that I could no longer see only the futures of this universe, but all the futures of the multiverse. All the current and future information in my head. Multiverse, that's it. If your knowledge reaches such extremes your body should. Having a limit, isn't it like that? Yes. I reached my limit. SW. When I saw the multiverse I knew everything. It always happens the same, I lose, you win, or I don't even exist in that universe. Millions of possibilities, millions of me of you in my mind. I have something for you. It's a weapon from another dimension. Tiba is the swordsman, not me. Will you be able to defend yourself without your powers? You'll have to learn how to use it. What will happen to Dreg? I see multiple possibilities. You'll have to wait. I have to accept all this, that this is the end. It's a new beginning, but only for you. I have agonized. I know so much. But I don't want to know anything. Goodbye, Rizavam. This was bound to happen. Thank you, Hyodo Issei, for freeing me. End of flashback. Issei was at a loss for what to say. This was unheard of. RDU. I don't know how much information that human had before he died, but if he knew everything to the point of not wanting to know anything, he surely knew about the seal you have. Issei. Shocked curse. RDU. Also, in your memories I didn't see any contact, so the seal was when you weren't conscious. Someone placed that seal without you realizing it. That must have also happened days before your confrontation with Rizavam, when you were still in your world. Issei. But who? RDU. I don't know, but you have a seal that, according to my analysis, blocks your so-called sacred gear. In addition to that, seal was made specifically to weaken the demon and dragon races, having as a side effect the degradation of all your powers, but definitely Rizavam knew about it, that's why you have that sword. Issei. Takes out his sword. What is the sword? RDU. It has an energy inside that seems to counteract that of the seal. I don't know where it comes from, but it is definitely useful. Having it in your possession slowly weakens the seal. Issei. Then can I break it? RDU. No. The sword will only help you weaken the seal and strengthen your dragon side, avoiding the degradation of your powers. In the future, the longer you use it, the better its effects will be, but breaking the seal is another story. Issei. What exactly? RDU. As I said, it only weakens the seal. In the future it could allow a little of the power of your sacred gear to come out, but to break it, you will need a huge amount of energy, specifically the energy of that sword, but in large quantities. Issei. Rizavam was my enemy, but at the time of the destruction of my world he helped me however. Why didn't he tell me everything if he really wanted to help me? Why didn't he tell me everything? RDU. As a machine I cannot understand your emotions, but I do understand the concept of the universe and its laws. I can tell you that for living beings knowledge has a price. Issei. Are you implying that I was afraid of something? RDU. My teacher once told me Anne is a machine created by him. I can assure you that if you say things you shouldn't say, the price to pay can be millions of times worse than death. That is why for me living beings they should not covet knowledge beyond their universe if they don't even know what they have in front of them. Issei. For now I got answers, but I'm left with more questions. At that the alarm sounded. Eula was completely cured. RDU. Where are you? Issei. Yes, he would approach and take Eula out of her capsule to carry her. RDU. You are in luck at this point. I moved back to the linked domain. You must leave before I move again to another domain. Issei. Thanks. RDU. Thanking a machine is useless. We have no feelings. Issei. I know, but as a person I had to say it. Thank you very much. RDU. Question. How are you going to get out of here? Issei. Holds the sword tightly. At that moment the dragon wings would come out on Issei's back. RDU. Interesting. Issei. I'll fly out of here. He would quickly fly away leaving RDU alone before teleporting to another domain. RDU. Well, it seems that he is someone whom my master would like. Analyzing Rizavam's information about him, more specifically his conversation with Issei. I wonder how much he predicted and if he knew that this meeting would happen. Chapter 22. Camaraderie. Liu. In the city of Liu, people were walking towards the place where the descending rite will be held in the future. There were 4 people in total, 2 men and 2 women. One of them was wearing a scholar's outfit. There were 2 boys. The first one was wearing light black clothing, with a claw-like hand, slightly strange hair. He was carrying a sword. He looked like a mercenary at first glance. The second boy had red hair, light clothing between white and more red, with gloves on his hands. He was carrying a sword. Finally, a girl who caught people's attention. Even though the boys would be more attention-grabbing, in reality it was she who caught the attention. It was because her face and body were not seen. Her clothes were such that they looked like a funeral dress, all black covering her head and body, not letting her face be seen. Sonia. Please Ellsworth and Raven, behave when we arrive. We have to avoid provoking our clients. Ellsworth. I know. Sonia. I hope you two don't start fighting. Raven. TCH, I can't believe we're actually doing this. Ellsworth. Raven, please don't complain. We owe this to Sonia as a scholar of Sumeru. When she found people from another world in a domain, instead of reporting it and giving this knowledge to her own, she worried about us. She had the good heart to say that her research failed to protect our anonymity, costing her dearly in the process. Raven. I know. I'll behave. Sonia. Sayer. You two need to be more rational in your actions. You took many things lightly. Raven. With all due respect, you are the one wearing that funeral attire that doesn't let you see anything of your body, not even your face. Sayer. Take precautions that you don't. Fake name and clothes that don't show anything of your body to memorize. Ellsworth. Come on, with all due respect, your caution didn't have to be that great. Sayer. It is better to be prepared. Sonia. Sayer is right. In case something bad happens you two will not be able to change your name, since people will recognize you by your appearance, and with how peculiar yours is they will not forget it easily. On the other hand, Sayer has a hidden name and appearance. If something happens, she will be able to reappear on the streets. Raven. Ha, I'm not one to hide, but I understand the message. Remind me why we're here. Ellsworth. Because of us, Miss Sonia ruined her career as a scholar in Sumeru, and now we help her as a merchant, making her one of the most recognized, to give her a good life, while she teaches us more about this world, its traditions, etc. Raven. Damn, I already understand that part. What I don't understand is why the 3 of us came. Sayer. Because Miss Sonia needs protection after finishing this job. Remember once we talked to the so-called Heavenly Balance and offer the products for the Rite of Descent, we will go to sell more products in Inazuma. Raven. I heard from that place that the situation there isn't getting tense. Ellsworth. According to rumors there will be problems. Sonia. Since I left my path as a scholar and became a merchant, I have a nose for business. You know what that means. Raven. Take advantage of those problems and sell more. Sonia. Correct. Ellsworth. Sighed. By the way. Has Raven Eve spoken to you or said anything about the whereabouts of Ad and Lu? Raven. No. Those two may be planning, I don't think they even think about us or the consequences of their actions. I just hope that while we try to adapt to our new life without hurting anyone, they don't come to cause chaos to try to control everything. Elseword. Haha. We are currently limited, but if they go down the wrong path my sword will not hesitate. Sayer. Guys, let's continue with the topic later, it seems that we have arrived. Sonia. Our destination for this negotiation is up there. His fingers pointed at a large building floating in the air, the Jade Chamber. Elseword. Okay guys, let's go. And to Mondstadt. In the domain where Issei and Eula were still trapped, at the core of it were Ad and Lu. Ad was in a kind of orb that shone white, you could hear his bones readjusting, and his skin regenerating, he continued to heal his wounds from the battle with Issei. On the other hand, Lu checked the integrity of the domain, his face did not look happy, instead it simply showed dissatisfaction. Lu? Ad, looks like we'll be leaving soon. Ad? What are you talking about? Lu? It means the plan failed, you can't understand that. Ad? What, why, and why do you now call me Ad instead of EXO? Lu? Because hiding our identities is no longer of any use. Ad? What are you talking about? Lu? Sighed the guy called Issei who you fought with, right now I can feel his presence is flying back. Ad? What? Fell to the bottom, even if there is nothing solid, just water, he should have drowned from fatigue. Lu? Well, that's not the case. In fact, as I see, he fell and found the real controller of the domains. Ad? Shivered, damn machine. Lu? It's clear that in the time that he passed he obtained information, besides that if he is back it means that he is cured, and even if you hate to admit it, you can't beat him. Ad? Grits teeth. Lu? You may be angry, but facing him would be dangerous, and even if there were two of us, his partner is probably healthy by now, do you understand my point? Ad? Yes. Lu? Okay, finish healing your wounds, I will soon begin the destruction of this domain when you are completely healed. Ad? Okay. I'll be ready soon, Issei. I'll remember it, I'll remember this humiliation, clenches fists. Lu? It seems that I have found an adversary, but at the moment you are very weak, Ad, like me, the faster we recover our true strength, the better it will be for both of us. On the other hand, that Issei guy confirmed that he is from dimension number 1, the dragon dimension, he lives up to his name, despite having fewer strong or technologically developed beings. The few that are strong are worth thousands, it could be said that although his entire planet was not fully developed, it is a world of quality before quantity. I'm afraid to say it, but I think it will be a problem in the future, even so it is not like I can get rid of it currently. Ad? Lu, I'm ready now. Lu? Millimeters. Ad? Lu? Lu? Sorry, my mind was wandering. Ad? Are we going? Lu? Wait a second. Ad? What are you doing? Lu? I'm leaving a gift, of course, it's wrong to leave without saying goodbye. Ad? You're creating more of those mechanical monsters, why? Lu? To calm my dissatisfaction that the plan could not be realized, it is something I cannot digest. Millimeters for the first time experience defeat, it feels very bitter, so I will leave a bitter taste to your victory. Ad? Chance. Lu? Bingo, so many monsters, one target, attack anyone in sight. When this domain is destroyed, all of them will be out of it, even Issei, and that girl Eula won't be able to prevent injuries. Smiles. Ad? Smiles, then I will help you finish this task faster. But Issei and Eula. Issei, after spending a few minutes flying at top speed, arrived at the stone bridges again, put away his dragon wings and placed Eula on the ground. Issei. Perfect, just in time. Eula. Millimeters. Issei. If you're waking up. You're fine. Eula. Wakes up and yeah, what happened, right? We fell to the bottom, where are we? Issei. Calm down, we're already up there, it's good that you put away your wings, it would overwhelm her, and she must already have a lot to think about after we fell to that height. Eula. Hey. Looks around like. Issei. Well, you were unconscious, I went up again. Eula. Go up, how true, this guy after what I saw against EXO he flew away. Issei. I guess you get the idea. Eula. Yes. Are you human? Issei. It's a difficult question, but I haven't been one for a long time. Eula. What are you? Some kind of Adeptus, if so you are not far from your region. Issei. Adeptus. I don't know what it is, but I can definitely assure you that I am not one of them. Eula. How much can you tell me? Issei. Just what I am, but nothing more than that. Eula. I see, well, it's better with few answers than none at all. Issei. Okay. I'm what you would call a dragon. Eula. Like the. Issei. Like the dragon that attacked Mondstadt, yes, but how to say it, I'm different, the term for people like me is humanoid dragon. Eula. Humanoid dragon, I don't know the name of any creature like that, but then you are a dragon that adopts a human appearance. Issei. Exactly, although more inclined to human who can barely adopt dragon parts. Beulah. Okay. I don't know what to say, I've never seen anything like you, but I want you to know something. Issei. Yes. Beulah. Thank you, you saved my life so I don't consider you a bad person, and I will trust you from now on to watch my back, and I won't reveal your secret about what you are. Issei. Well, thank you. Apart from you, only Payman and Lumen know who I am, although those two know more than that. Beulah. I understand one more thing, you lied to a friend and kept a very important secret, I will get revenge. Issei. Ha. Beulah. Telling me doesn't change anything, a secret is still a secret and hiding it from a friend even for a second, especially if it's an important secret of such magnitude, deserves revenge. Issei. Heavens. Beulah. Don't worry, I'll think of something. Issei. I can't handle this girl then let's. Tremble. Beulah. What's going on? Issei. The entire domain trembles. Issei. That's what it is. At that moment some voices resounded, Issei immediately recognized the voices were those of Lu and Ad. Lu. I hope you guys are enjoying your moment of romance, because this is where it ends. Issei. You guys where are you? Lu. Unfortunately we will be leaving and of course this domain will disappear. Issei. I see after the fight with EXO or rather Ad, she is cautious and knows that if she were to enter that state again, the chances of winning are against her, to avoid unnecessary risks and greater losses, they will withdraw well in the end it is beneficial for both of them to throw in the towel. Beulah. It seems that your fight with EXO served some purpose. Lu. However, as a woman I am a bit capricious and I feel very dissatisfied because they ruined the plans I had, but well, before I leave I will leave them a gift. After hearing those words Issei and Eula looked at each other seriously. Issei. A gift. Lu. Yes. Look ahead, far ahead. Beulah. I only see fog. But at that moment lights began to illuminate without stopping. Issei. This doesn't seem like a good gift to me. Lu. Well, I'm a bad loser, I don't give very good gifts. Beulah. There are more of them than we saw before there are even ruinous demolition workers. Issei. It seems like they left us with some trouble. Lu. The domain will be gone soon and one thing they will stay even if this domain is gone, some will set their sights on you, others will go for civilians, I wonder if the two of you can alone against this number of 100. Issei. You guys. Ad. Goodbye. At that moment the domain trembled more strongly, everything was fading, below Issei and Eula there was grass. Issei. We are on the grass of the starry cliff. I guess it took us back to the entrance. Beulah. And they too. Issei. There are too many. Beulah. What do we do? Issei. I don't know, some will pay attention to us, but others will pass us by and look for other targets. At that moment they approached to attack, but then a sword destroyed their attacks. Noelle. You're fine. Issei. Noelle. Beulah. It's not just her smiles. At that moment multiple attacks were directed at the guards, reducing their numbers to little. Issei. Well, this is really lucky smiles guys, I would stop to talk, but it seems that this is the priority. Beulah. You're right. Amber. We're sorry for the delay so let's go. Lisa. Looks like I'll have to get serious. Jean. Let's end the threat of Mondstadt. Albedo. Everyone be careful. Illich. Don't expect Kia to cover your back. Kia. It seems like we'll have fun like kids. Rosaria. Let's finish this quickly, I don't want to work overtime. Lumen. Issei, you will have to give a lot of explanations. Payman. That's right. Noelle. We'll talk about this later. Issei. Guys, let's finish them off. Chapter 23. The end of the battle. Issei. We need to stop the movement of someone. Albedo. Limestone rock. Immediately 10 ruin guardians would be held back by the stone generated by Albedo, which has been wrapped like a whip. Issei. That's very useful. Albedo. Considering the strength of the guardians, they will break it in no time. Issei. Not if I have destroyed them before. Issei would quickly jump towards them, taking advantage of their immobility to stab his sword into the eyes of the guardians one by one. Lumen. Okay, 10 down, 90 to go. Shock. Shock. Burst. Illich. We can't last much longer like this. Jean. The real problem is the demolition men and hunters, if we move away they will start the bombing. Issei. The only archer here is Amber, that means she is the only one who can aim at the hunter's weak point. Jean. I will take care of providing support healing wind. At that moment, the wounds of his companions that were accumulating were healed, while the wind caused a series of elemental reactions with the enemies affected by the particular element. Lumen. That was very helpful Jean, thanks. Shock. Issei. Sure, that's it, listen up everyone, follow me quickly. At that moment everyone paid attention to Issei doing what he said. They ran away while the guards followed them, but naturally, since they walked slowly, they would be left behind. Beulah. I guess you finally have a plan. Issei. Yes, thanks to Jean the first realized that we were dealing with them the hard way. Billick. What's the plan? Issei. First of all, are civilians away from this area? Jean. Yes, I have mobilized the available Knights of Favonius to take them all to Mondstadt. Issei. Well, at least we don't have to worry about people. Lumen. Those guardians we left behind are slow, but they will follow us. Issei. We are the only people they have seen, they will not stop their steps, they will walk until they find us. Lumen. Then why did we escape? Issei. We don't do it, we just take a lot of distance, here it's okay, let's stop. Arrest. At that moment everyone would have stopped, noticing that they had moved away from the starry cliff and left the guardians far behind. Jean. Issei, what's your plan? Issei. Smiles use the elements to our advantage. Payman hopes everything goes well. 10 minutes later. The ruined machines had been divided into groups of their kind, the cause of this was Issei, Jean and Lumen, who had separated them in this way. Issei. The plan begins well. The group of ruin hunters chased him relentlessly, he kept a distance where they could not attack him hand to hand, but he did not go too far away to start the bombardment. After running for 2 minutes, he reached his destination where he stopped, he was standing on a huge puddle of water, around there was a building that seemed to be old or at least very old. Seeing them head on, he moved away too far, the eyes of the ruin hunters shone brightly. The missile bombing was about to begin. Issei. Oh, Amber. At that multiple arrows had hit the target, the hunters fell. Amber. Smiles at the target. Flashback. Issei. First of all we are going to divide them into groups of the same type so that Lumen, Jean and I will take care of that part, as well as having each group follow one of us. Lumen. It will certainly be less complicated than all mixed together as before. Jean. Where should we direct them? Issei. Where the environment is beneficial to us, for example in my case I will take the ruin hunters, the key here to destroy them will be Amber. Amber. Aye. Issei. Yes, you are the only archer among us, the only one who can hit their weak point due to their great height, takes out a map. Light. A map. Issei. I didn't tell you we will defeat them with the environment in our favor, elemental reactions will be the key. Payman, do you remember where we defeated the Eye of the Storm for a mission a long time ago? Payman remembers, it was an area that had a kind of huge puddle of water and broken buildings around it, but the battle became complicated. Lumen. It got complicated. An Eye of the Storm isn't a difficult enemy, but it's not easy either, so it got complicated for you, surprised that's why. Issei. Yes, because the anemo mixed with water, it applied both anemo and hydro damage, he had to be aware of his attacks, especially the air whirlwind, when he activated that damn ability, the elemental reaction was impossible to dodge due to the airfield. Jean. I understand the part about Amber, however, once they are on the ground what will happen, Amber's pyro element will only give her a little more damage because she is affected with hydro. Issei. My plan does not include letting Amber continue attacking, Amber's role is simply to take them down, once on the ground. Smiles, the job is for 2 people in particular. End of flashback. Amber. Job done, now it's your turn. Issei. Kia and Rosaria are your turn. Rosaria. Cross of Judgment. Kia. Blizzard. Immediately the enemies were frozen. Kia. Well, this will be easier, takes out his sword. Rosaria. Let's finish this once and for all, holds her spear tightly. Flashback. Lumen. 2 people in particular. Issei. Yes, points you too. Rosaria. This is interesting. Kia. I have an idea of what you want to do. Issei. I didn't expect anything less. Payman. Hey, Payman would like you to explain it to her. Issei. Enemies affected by hydro when they come into contact with cryo are instantly frozen, in this way we will permanently stop those ruin hunters, they will remain inactive and frozen, being attacked by Kia and Rosaria constantly, thus we will finish them off, Amber will stay to take one down again, in case of getting rid of the frozen state, thus again Rosaria or Kia will freeze it. Payman. Then why doesn't Eula help, her vision of her is also cryo. Issei. It's because of his weapon, the 2-handed swords are for the strongest attacks, they will break the ice, although it also causes damage, it is very inefficient. On the other hand, light swords and spears do not break the frozen state, in addition to carrying out the fastest attacks. Eula. Yes, in my case I think Issei has an important role for me. Issei. Exactly. End of flashback. Amber. Issei, everything here is okay, you can head to the next location. Issei. Understood, I follow you. Eula. Yes. Both of them would run quickly to get to the place where Lisa, Albedo, Noel and Dilek were. Issei. Jean hasn't arrived. Lisa. She should arrive soon, be careful with the distance, and the ruin guardians move too slowly. Diluc. Here I come. Issei. Eula, now it's your turn. Eula. Jean's down icy cutter. Jean. Crouches. At that moment an ice sword would attack all the guardians in an area. Issei. Albedo and Noelle, you're next. Noelle. Stone sword. Albedo. Limestone flower. These would hit them and generate small crystals around them. Albedo. Now. Jean. Everybody take a crystal. At that moment everyone would take one and a shield would form around them. Flashback. Issei. The guardians of the ruins launched their damn missiles as always, although they exposed their weak point. Amber must be with the hunters, since they are more complex due to the height they reach when launching their missiles. We will not be able to use their weak point, in this case we need to defend ourselves, for this Albedo and Noelle will be the greatest support. Albedo. I see, you're thinking of using the crystallized reaction. Issei. Yes, Lumen once told me that even the inert Geo has her elemental reaction. Lumen. Crystallized is the only reaction that Geo has, it releases a crystal when the enemy is affected by an element, a kind of shield. Noelle. But it only occurs when affected by the 4 corresponding pyro, electro, cryo and hydro, and the shield will be more resistant if the enemy attacks with a respective element of the shield, otherwise the shield will only withstand a couple of hits. Issei. In this case we only need the shield to be created to hold us. Eula will be the one who uses the cryo on the guardians, Albedo and Noelle will be the ones who attack to generate crystallization. But I will tell you once and for all, the crystallization is not to protect us from the guardians. Jean. So. Issei. To protect ourselves from our own comrade smiles. Payman. Payman is scared. End of flashback. Issei. Lisa, Diluc and Jean, finish them. Lisa. Well, I guess I have to please my darling lightning strikes. Diluc. Flaming eagle. Jean. Dandelion breeze. At that moment a huge explosion would occur due to the combination of these 3 elements colliding constantly. Flashback. Lumen. Protect us from our friends. That can only be. Issei. If the reaction overloads, when electro and pyro or vice versa come into contact with each other, it results in a huge explosion, in other words, we will see fireworks giving a lot of damage in area. Payman. Now Payman understands what the shields are for. Issei. Lisa and Diluc will apply the element constantly, but the key here is Jean using the whirlwind reaction, he will apply the pyro and electro elements much more on the guardians. Lumen. That will blow the ruin guardians to smithereens. Diluc. However, the real problem is the last ones, the ruin demolitionists. A ruin demolitionist is much more complicated than the hunters or guardians. Issei. There is already a measure against it, Lumen will be in charge of taking them back to the starry cliff. Jean. Take them to the place where they appeared, you have a plan that you have to do with the place. Issei. Yes, after all I want to finish quickly to continue listening to the lyrics of Venti. Quickly Lumen, Jean and Diluc understood the message between Issei's words. End of flashback. Lumen was quickly running to the cliff, the guardians following behind her. Meanwhile Issei had left the place where Jean, Lisa, Diluc, Noelle and Albedo were, to go to where Lumen was. Lumen. Well, here we are. Payman. Do you think Issei is right and he is close? Light. Definitely. The ruined guardians stood in front of her ready to attack. At that moment Issei arrived quickly, he was behind them. 20. Just in time you are. Issei. Well, I heard your melody with the lyre when I was running with the others, I knew you were around here, but you must finish quickly. I can't say I was the only one who noticed. If more people arrive apart from Jean and Diluc, it will be problematic. Venti. Takes out his bow. Issei. Lumen and Payman get down. Lumen. Grabs Payman. At that moment Lumen heard Issei's voice of Ella and grabbed Payman in her arms of Ella to crouch down. Venti. Heavenly arrow. At that moment the arrow pierced a ruined destroyer, then formed a sphere that attracted most of the people over the cliff, leaving only 2. Issei. There are still 2 missing. Venti. Don't worry, I went with the help of an old friend. Issei. Smiles. At that moment sharp claws grabbed the ruined destroyers, destroying them, the only thing left were their pieces. The presence of the one who did it was none other than the Eastern Dragon Valen. Valen. Flies away. Lumen. Looks like it's over. Issei. Are you okay? Lumen. Venti, next time let me know you're nearby. Venti. Don't be angry Lumen, everything turned out well anyway, especially it was amazing to see their cooperation. Issei. Sighed, it's finally over. Lumen. The demolition machines that fell are completely destroyed, that fall tore them apart. Issei. Well then let's finish cleaning up, let's throw the remains of these demolition men off the cliff, I don't want the others to come and ask questions about how these two ended up like this. Lumen. You should also go Venti, it would be problematic to explain your presence here. Issei. I agree. Payman. If we don't want to cause you trouble. Venti. Okay smiles, I'll see you guys later. After a few minutes Issei, Lumen and Payman had already cleaned the place, the others arrived, Issei quickly explained to them that he threw them all off the cliff destroying them. The problem with the Guardians was over, but while the others were talking, Eula and Issei looked at each other with signs. By the time they returned to the city of Mondstadt Eula made a report. 2 days had passed since the incident, by the time everything was over Eula and Issei met to talk. Eula told everything she reported to the knights, more specifically to Jean, as for Issei, he found the report satisfactory. Issei. Thanks for keeping my secret. Eula. You're welcome, I don't break promises. I didn't mention anything out of the ordinary. Issei. I know, but in your report why didn't you say or mention those two who were in the domain? Eula. Mondstadt is still recovering from the chaos caused by the dragon, this event of the domain, and the Guardians of Ruins, has all the inhabitants more alert, if I told the truth about enemies who use powers that we do not know, chaos could lurk. Issei. I understand perfectly, it's easier to make a place fall into chaos. Eula. For now, I won't say anything about those two, but I'll be on the lookout in case they come back. Issei. I think they won't be back to Mondstadt for a long time, but it's certainly not the last we'll see of them. Eula. By the way, are you leaving soon? Issei. Yes. The time here in Mondstadt passed too quickly, it is a little sad to see me go, but the friends I made here, I will see them again when I return. Eula. I understand, then I must get my revenge before you leave. Issei. You keep doing that. Eula. I don't forget any revenge, I have a list in fact. Issei. Well then, what will your revenge be, helping you with a problem, buying you food or a hit? Eula. Smiles, my revenge grabs him as this. Slowly Eula approached and took Issei's lips at that precise moment, for the two of them it was as if time had stopped, it was a long and beautiful kiss. Issei's eyes widened, unable to believe the situation or say anything normally. Issei. What? H how? W when? W what? Eula. My revenge is that a girl likes you, and that could bring you problems in the future smiles. Chapter 24. Farewell and departure to Liu. At that moment Issei's mind was like an 80s computer loading a web page. Issei. Loading, what the hell happened Eula? Eula. It seems that I left you speechless. Issei. Anya. Sorry it took me by surprise. Eula. I want you to know that my feelings are not influenced by saving me. Issei. I didn't think that at all. Eula. I know, but I wanted you to know, I fell in love with your determination, with you as a person or dragon in your case, the truth is that this topic is complicated with you. Issei. I know, you can still refer to me as a calm person. Eula. So what do you think of me? You know, as a woman blushes. Issei. Eula lowers head. Eula. Do you dislike me? She would look at him with a little sadness in her eyes. Issei. No, of course not looks her in her eyes. Eula. Surprised then it has to do with a woman named Rias. Issei. Shocked how do you know about her? Issei's face showed shock, he was shocked and didn't know what to answer, not even words came out of his mouth without stuttering. Eula. It seems I was right size when we were in the domain and you were unconscious you said her name, I thought she was someone important to you, it seems I'm right. Issei. Whoa. Eula. Is she your girlfriend? Issei. It was. Eula. Ended with. Issei. She's dead. But those words Eula opened her eyes in shock, feeling bad for saying it or even bringing up the subject. Eula. I'm sorry I didn't mean to. Issei. Don't worry, I know it wasn't your intention, so don't worry that doesn't matter anymore. Eula. Did you love her? Issei. Too much. Eula. How much has happened since then? Issei. The truth is it was a long time ago, however I didn't have time to say goodbye. Eula. You didn't have time? Issei. It's very complicated to tell the truth, it was N''T just her. Eula. I see so there were more like her. Issei. Yes. Eula. Do you feel like everything could end up the same way? Issei. Possibly or maybe, I'm just afraid of forgetting. Eula. Brings her hand closer listen I'm not here to fill any void, I know I can't replace another person, and that's not my intention, I want you to love me like Eula. Issei. Ha. Eula are you really sure you don't know how I am? Eula. I know very well, you are a perverted boy who dreams of having many women. Issei. Hey who told you that? Eula. Maid of honor. Issei. Damn Payman. Eula. He told me many things about you. Issei. And yet you're still okay with me, I mean it's how I am, I don't plan on changing, just as I don't plan on tying any woman to me if I can hurt her, because of the way I am. Beulah. Don't worry, I accept it and I accept you as you are, no matter how many wives you have. Issei. Are you sure about it? Beulah. Did you know that in the ancient Mondstadt that was ruled by nobles and the rich, marriages between more than one spouse were common? Issei. Ha. It's true Mondstadt is closer to what is a medieval era, it's not surprising that in the past weddings between a man or woman with more than one suitor were celebrated. Eula, I like you, I mean I would have to be blind and stupid, not like a person like you. But. At that moment he felt a soft and warm hand on his shoulder, and that action made him remember a conversation from the past. Flashback. Rias. Issei, can I talk to you outside for a moment? Issei. Sure, no problem. The full moon shone beautifully and illuminated the flowers. Rias. The garden is getting more and more beautiful. Issei. Asia has been planting red and white roses, the contrast reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. Rias. He right. Issei. Rias, what did you want to talk about? Little did I know, she would ask me a question that night, a question I wished I hadn't asked, I wouldn't have even imagined I would be able to ask it. Rias. The day you died or we thought you had died, I want you to know that I was scared. Issei. Laughs. Rias. Seriously, I didn't care about this world or people, everything could be destroyed for me, I didn't even care if I died if that would allow me to meet you, although for angels and demons death is the end, only nothingness remains. Issei. I wouldn't have wished for that, turns his gaze. Rias. I know, but it can't be helped, we became too dependent on you Issei emotionally speaking, and when that happens, well that situation is normal. Walks towards the roses. Issei. Rias, for some reason I don't like this conversation. Rias. Me neither, but if all the conversations we don't like could be avoided, then we would rarely be prepared for those hypothetical situations. Issei. It's true. Rias. You're my friend. Issei. Aims at her seriously. Rias. The fact that you came back alive was nothing more and nothing less than luck, all due to the Great Red, otherwise we wouldn't be talking right now, then ready to receive the question. Issei. Honestly. The way this conversation is going I'm afraid to listen to it. Rias. Takes a red rose. Issei. What would you do if this time the one who died was not you but your fiancé's? Issei. Shocked. The red rose crumbled in Ria's hands, letting the petals fly. Rias. If that's the case, come in please. Issei. I won't allow that to happen. Rias. I know, but if fate wants it that way. Issei. To hell with that fate. Rias. Issei. Issei. Hey, I just can't. Rias. Just listen to me, I love you, we all love you, but that incident opened my eyes. Issei. I don't want to be prepared for something like that, Rias. Rias. Me neither, but sometimes life is cruel and where it hurts the most is in love. Tears ran down Ria's cheeks. Issei. Laughs. Rias. I need you to make me a promise in case I were to die, we all would, I don't care if you have more girlfriends, nor do I care if there are more than before, that is indifferent to I. Issei. Why are you asking me something like this? Rias. Because I love you and I want you to be happy, and our death should not be an impediment. Slowly approaches. That night I felt fear, an indescribable fear, I felt that no matter what I said or said, I couldn't avoid anything that would happen. Issei. I can't, please don't make me tell that. Rias. I'm sorry, but it's my duty to make sure you're happy, so takes him by the hands. Promise that if we die you won't give up on your dreams, you won't give up on your beliefs, and above all you won't give up on love. Issei. Me. Yes, that night I could feel it, the weight of my words, of my actions, I could feel it clearly, I could feel that my mouth would not release the words, that the saliva was stuck in my throat to choke me and not speak. Every muscle in my body was reacting in a way that made it seem like I was going to lose my mind, I could clearly feel my heart beating too fast, as if I was going to have a heart attack. But I couldn't stay silent, I had to answer, respond to her, tell her even if I didn't want to, it was my duty to her as a servant, as a laborer, as her boyfriend to her, and as her fiancé. Rias. Looks at him. Issei. I promise you. Rias. Hugs him. Thanks, if you want you can hate me. Issei. I really can't hate you, maybe that's why this moment was so difficult. Rias. Please Issei, be happy. Yes, those words stayed with me that night, I never thought a day like this would come, and in the end it came. End of flashback. Turning back to see who had touched his shoulder, with a pale face he saw no one, on the contrary, just a few words came to his mind. Be happy. Beulah. Is there something wrong with this? Issei. No. I just remembered a conversation from the past, nothing important. Back to the point. You know I'm the type of guy who spends his time traveling. Beulah. I don't care about that, Issei, or should I call you a traveler? Issei. Hahaha. Looks at her. I do and apostrophe T know what the future may hold for me or what things I may encounter, but I can bring you problems. Beulah. I'm not the same as you. Issei. True, then I guess I have to say what I think of you. Beulah. You went around in circles for a question. Issei. It's never easy when it comes to love. Beulah. So if you keep prolonging it I'll get revenge. Issei. Okay, you're a cute girl, you have beautiful hair and eyes, on top of that you have big breasts, plus a beautiful waist with a big perfect butt. Beulah. Blushes to the extreme. What the H are you saying? Why did you have to mention my physique, baka? Beulah would be very embarrassed by Issei's words from her, it was too much honesty for her. Issei. But. Beulah. Heh. Issei. You seek to protect the city no matter how many people despise you, you are a good person who holds firm to his values and beliefs, and you always seek to do the right thing, you defended me with your life in the domain despite my condition, anyone else would have abandoned me, I would be foolish and an idiot if I said no, there is a girl that pretty, of course I like you Beulah. Beulah. Blushes you are. Issei. I see. Beulah. I guess takes him by the hands that now I can do this more naturally. Issei. Hey. Beulah. Kisses him. Issei. Corresponds to the kiss. That day I probably started to fulfill a very old promise to be happy myself, so I'm not saying that I will stop remembering the past, but I will concentrate on my future. At night. After spending some time with Beulah I returned to Noelle's house. Noelle. Hello Issei. Lumen. Hello Issei. Jean. Issei. Lisa. Honey. But when I did, I noticed that the atmosphere was somewhat tense. Issei. Payman, what happened? Payman. Whispers there is a rumor that Beulah fell in love with you and that they are dating and they were also seen kissing. Issei. Who said that? Payman. It was Kia. Issei. Damn it Kia. Jean. Issei, you know there is a new rule, some members of the knights must test the combat skills of an honorary knight. Lumen. Yes, so you will have to be careful of our weapons. Lisa. Honey please don't be electrocuted to death. Noelle. The match in 2. Issei. Girls. We can talk about this. At night I lived through hell and I swore that Kia would pay me back one of these days. Finally the day of my departure from Mondstadt arrived. Beulah. So you're going to Liu now? Issei. Yes, I hope to return one of these days. Beulah. You fly, you can't fly from here to there. Issei. Ha, it's not that easy and when I fully control it, I doubt people won't make a fuss when they see someone flying. Beulah. By the way, where are Lumen and Payman? Issei. They left much earlier, they will arrive in time for the decent rite, I will arrive a day early. Beulah. Why? Issei. Well let's say I'll have less problems dealing with them than them. Beulah. Jean and Lisa seem to miss you, same with Noelle. Issei. I say the same, I had a great experience here. Beulah. By the way, don't die. Issei. Calm down. Beulah. With your luck, you may end up in more than one problem. Issei. My girlfriend really has no faith in me. Beulah. Well if you find yourself in legal trouble, I have a friend in Liu called Yanfei. Issei. Understood. Beulah. Until we meet again smiles. Issei would say goodbye to Beulah and then start walking calmly. Issei. Well let's go to Liu. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I will face it. How I wish some of my friends could see this. I wonder what awaits me in Liu. Elsewhere. Snow and cold flooded the place. Bleeding cough, it really was an incredible fight, even though I gave it my all you were someone tough. Ha. That doesn't matter, I lost. I should be grateful that I'm still alive, I'll have to go to Liu now, I'll have to pick up the pace to get there on time before the rite of descent, anyway I have to meet Signora. What a pain, but well who would say that here in Dragon Spine, on a mission, on such a simple reconnaissance mission, I Noble of the 11, no. I Tartaglia would meet a tough adversary, where the hell did you come from? What was your name? Yeah. A great warrior like you who defeated me, one of the 11 deserves to be remembered. Your name was Volley Lucifer, I hope to see you again. Arc 2. Interesting answers and intriguing questions. Finished. Chapter 25. Back in action. Arch 3. Starts. Within a dream, a large green meadow is seen, and in that dream Issei's body was lying down, his eyes were open but lifeless. Where am I? What is this place? I'm very sleepy, I want to sleep, let me close my eyes. His mouth did not move, just like his eyes, it was as if his voice came out of nowhere, through his eyes I could see everything around, even 360 degrees without standing or moving. Issei. Issei, wake up. You must wake up. Who speaks to me? She's coming back out of all the universes she fell into, yours the only one that merged all her dimensions, becoming a dimensionless universe. Who speaks to me? The multiverse war was not the end. She's not dead. She's coming back. And now that the walls between universes have closed, you're alone. Or? Multiverse. Quioneers. It seems that we ran out of time. Wait. Remember, you must stop her rebirth of her ... or you will not be able to stop her anymore. Stop who? Luck. Of whom you speak? Of. A dream would break like glass. 5 hours before. Elsewhere. My name is Lumen, I am a traveler who has traveled all over this world, or I did in the past. But time was turned back for some reason, the dimensions merged, and the respective universes of those dimensions are now one. But it was not just the universe, the entire planet merged with the worlds of the other dimensions. This information was given to me by an inhabitant of another world who lost his family, his friends and his lovers. He has nothing left. For some reason my memories of the future are limited to a certain period of time. Currently I only remember the events up to Inazuma, but Issei and I came to an agreement I would follow the original story so as not to affect the flow of time. However, that is already something difficult to accomplish. We are not the only inhabitants who are not from this world. The fusion of dimensions brought more inhabitants from other worlds. Now it seems that the problems will come in droves. Still, Issei said that he would take care of them if they interfered, so I decided to let him do his job and I would do mine, and so I am doing. We arrive at Liu and continue with the original story as I promised to say, however I find myself right at the end of a long battle. Payman. Do not yield to the light of the fools. Lumen. We must hold on, I won't let them destroy the ballistae. Foolish. Kill them. Banyu. Resistant. Lumen. They're like cockroaches, they just keep coming no matter how many defeats you have. Shock. 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 Low. Low. Lumen attacked ferociously, her movements were precise and lethal, there was no consideration for the enemy. Payman. Lumen, watch out behind you. Tax collector. Gotcha. Catching. I'm sorry to tell you that it's over for you. The collector would be completely destroyed by catching. Lumen. Thanks catching. Catching. Don't even mention it. Lumen. So far things are going as I remember, when Osha launches his attack he will destroy the ballistae, then there will be a time interval where he will not attack, then Ningguang will decide to sacrifice the Jade Chamber to defeat him. Shock. Low. Shock. At that moment the Fatui would stop arriving, and as predicted, the Osha attack destroyed the crossbows. Lumen. Well now. Hey. Before he could even think finished, the situation was not as he remembered, because the Lord of the Osha Vortex launched a second attack in the form of lightning. Xiao. Careful. Xiao quickly launched himself against the monster's attack, blocking it with all his strength. Lumen. But what? Xiao. Hi. Payman. This is not good, Xiao will not resist that attack anymore. Oshel. Grin. Oshel roared with his other heads, while one of them continued to fire the beam which Xiao blocked. Ganyu. Let me support you. At that moment, Ganyu used the powers of his cryo-vision and froze the ray that Oshel was throwing, creating an ice bridge, while one of his heads was temporarily paralyzed by that attack. Xiao. That won't stop him, he has more heads. Oshel, who was enraged by Ganyu's attack, using his other heads, fired concentrated bullets of elemental energy. Ningguang. I'll take care of it. At that moment Ningguang created jade screens to protect his allies from Oshel's shots of him. Lumen. Wow, what is this? This shouldn't have happened like this. Lumen looked at the whole situation in astonishment, she couldn't believe what was happening, the events were not as she remembered. Catching. We must sacrifice the Jade Chamber to stop him, but… Ningguang. I know, he is not giving us the time to prepare. Lumen. I don't understand why this happens. At that moment everything went dark, the shadow of a person appeared behind Lumen, his voice was dark, it didn't sound like something human. Why does this happen? That's what you ask yourself. Lumen. What is this? I feel like I shouldn't turn around. But contrary to what her own body was telling her, she turned around but could only see a shadow that was slowly molding and taking the shape of a person. What's wrong, are you scared? Lumen. And you who are? That matters. Lumen. You are the one causing this. Sir? You mean the current situation, it's not developing as you wanted, right? You must have the enormous doubt of why things are not going as you remember, before you return to the past. Lumen. Shocked. And you? Listen to me carefully, do you really think that everything will be the same as before? Maybe you can make an effort to minimize the changes, but nothing will be the same, just like when you break a cup and glue it back together, it won't look the same, or if… Lumen. What are you saying? The laws of time were broken, there will be serious consequences for this, consequences that someone will have to pay, you will see. Lumen. What do you mean, hey? But Lumen would return to reality, that subject or entity had disappeared, as well as the space of darkness that surrounded her. Payman. Lumen, what are we doing? Lumen. I don't know. Ningguang. I won't last much longer. Xiao. To launch the attack on the Jade Chamber we need time, one of us must go buy time. Lumen. That would work, but going against Oshul alone would be suicide. Xiao. We have no other alternatives. Cloudkeeper. Unfortunately that is the case, one of us will have to sacrifice ourselves. Banyu. No. Ningguang. I. At that moment, the other heads of Oshul concentrated their energy and launched it towards Ningguang, the jade screens that she created were broken. Lumen. Knew this can't be happening. At that moment a voice was heard. I told you someone will have to pay. Lumen. Throughout my travels I made friends and now that I'm back in time, I refuse to let them die in this new timeline. Lumen ran to help Ningguang, but she couldn't reach him, unfortunately she wouldn't get there in time, the others tried to move, but they couldn't get there in time either. Ningguang. I'm going to die. If that's the case. Then I'll die protecting Liu smiles. The crash occurred, the energy of the explosion was concentrated upwards, no one had arrived in time to save her. Lumen. No. Banyu. It can't be. Petching. Seriously you have. There was only smoke and there was no way she could survive that attack alone, for a moment hope was lost. Issei. It's too early to give up, you know. At that moment everyone opened their eyes in shock, a boy they didn't know except for Payman and Lumen, had saved Ningguang and was currently carrying her. Ningguang. Who are you? Issei. Hyodo Issei. He quickly put down Miss Ningguang and stood in front of the Jade Chamber. Lumen. Issei. Issei. Turns around Lumen, I will give you enough time to prepare. Lumen. Wait, you're going to. But he couldn't finish speaking, because Issei stood on the ice bridge that Ganyu created by freezing the Oshul beam and headed towards it. Issei. Okay, one of the two will fall here. The heads looked at Issei, for Oshul he was a tiny ant, heading towards him, however, worried, he fired elemental energy bullets. Issei. Don't even think about it. Shock. Shock. Low. Shock. Oshul. Grin. The head that was paralyzed by Ganyu's previous attack was now breaking the ice, and with it, the bridge where Issei was standing, however Issei's speed was faster, and he arrived before the bridge was destroyed. The head that was released opened its mouth to eat Issei. Issei. Eat this wind blade. Oshul. Screams in pain. Oshul was angered by Issei's attack, but he was confident that the little guy would not be able to escape now that he fell into the water, but to his misfortune, Issei was flying in the air wrapped in Anemo energy. Issei. I hope you don't think you'll be able to beat me. I can't fly with Anemo energy yet, but I can use it to hide my dragon wings and make it look like I'm flying, using the Anemo elemental energy. The Vortex Overlord looked at him, a small fly in human terms was bothering him, quickly all their heads launched themselves at him. Oshul. Grin. Issei. Catch me if you can. Quickly Issei flew at high speed, dodging all of their heads and attacking by throwing wind blades, hitting their skin against his sword. Oshul. Start shooting. Shock. Low. Shock. Low. Shock. Low. Shock. Issei. Hey. Issei gave each blow with all his strength, but the amount of elemental energy shots were too many, he couldn't dodge them all, and so it was, several of them hit his body. Issei. Spits blood book. I know, I can't win in my current state, I'm just a fly to you, Lord Ancient God, however, you must also be upset, right, because a fly is causing you pain. Smiles. Oshul. Roars with anger. Oshul, no matter how big he was and how small Issei was, I could see his smile, he immediately knew what he meant by it, he moved the waves fiercely and launched a large shot towards the Issei. I see that I made you angry. Issei would dragonify his arms to resist Oshul's attack head-on, even so the damage was considerable, the defense of his arms, or rather his dragon scales were broken. Issei. Buck. I must not be arrogant, this thing according to Lumen's information is an ancient god, although for me it is only a monster, but it is still a powerful creature, I know my situation, I will not be able to kill it or beat it currently, surely he knows it, however now he will not let me go. Oshul. Looks at him. Issei. Because every creature has a sixth sense that warns them of danger, and they know that if they let me go, I will be a bigger problem in the future. Oshul. Would approach to devour it. Issei. You're trying to eat me. Oshul brought their heads closer, opened their mouths, each of their heads located at an angle where Issei could not fly to dodge it, naturally that Issei would be devoured was something inevitable. Oshul. Pointed to swallow Issei. Issei. I admit it, I would be finished in this situation if I hadn't touched the statue of the seven before coming here. After those words, geospheres appeared covering Oshul's mouths. Issei. I spent a lot of energy. Oshul. Breaks the spheres. Issei. I don't think I can stay in the air for much longer. Oshul. Roars angrily. At that moment, due to the large amount of energy that Issei spent, he would fall towards the sea, and Oshul was willing to devour him once and for all. Issei. Haha. Unfortunately for you, you're out of time, shows him the middle finger. At that moment Oshul realized that the Jade Chamber was heading towards him and was already so close that he could not avoid it. Issei. Just in time, Lumen. Lumen, who was in the center, helped to stop Oshul as it was written. Lumen. Hi. Issei. Swallow that, you bucking are of a bitch. But those words, the explosion from the collision between Oshul and the Jade Chamber occurred while Issei's body fell into the sea. Issei slowly visualized the light from the surface as he sank deeper. Issei. I'm sleepy. I think that I'm going to sleep a little. Close his eyes. Chapter 26. Impact. In the house where Lumen was staying, she visualized Issei's sleeping body. Next to her was Baizu, who was taking Issei's pulse. Lumen. How are you? Baizu. Out of danger. He's lucky in my opinion. Being unconscious underwater even for a few minutes should have filled his lungs with water and killed him, but Baizu. He just survived. To tell the truth, it's as if he's not human, as if his lungs were not those of an ordinary human, but I think I'm thinking too much. We should be glad that nothing worse happened to him. Lumen. If that's true, thank you, Baizu. Baizu. It's nothing. I don't think it's any small thing to have such attention for someone who helped save Liu. I hope he wakes up soon. Lumen. When do you think she can wake up? Baizu. It's hard to say. If you ask me honestly, I'd say it would take a person with a vision a week, but with him I'm not so sure. It might be soon. Lumen. I understand. Thank you again for the information, Baizu. Baizu. As I said, it's nothing. Let me know if he wakes up. I'll come back when the patient wakes up to do some more tests. The conversation between the two would end, and then Baizu would leave, leaving Lumen to take care of Issei. Lumen. Gosh, well, I'm relieved to know that you're out of danger, but you shouldn't have tried to do something as stupid as fighting a giant monster by yourself. Don't forget that. Surely where you come from you've already done that many times. At that moment Issei would wake up in a very abrupt way. His eyes opened quickly, he raised his head forward, a scream came out of his mouth, and he had begun to sweat despite being in a cool environment. Lumen, seeing this action, reacted quickly. She tried to get closer, but he kept screaming. Issei. Aya. Lumen. Issei, calm down. Lumen managed to calm him down before anyone came because of Issei's screams from him. Issei. I'm calm now. Lumen. How do you feel? Issei. I feel my whole body bucked up. Lumen. Well, waking up abruptly doesn't help you feel better. Issei. That was because I had a nightmare. Lumen. A nightmare? Issei. I don't even remember what I dreamed anymore. Lumen. Well, let it be, dreams are just that. Issei. Yes, you are right. Lumen. Leaving that aside, what is the last thing you remember? Issei. I was drowning. Lumen. I assumed so. Issei. Lumen, where am I currently? Lumen. In a lodging house, more specifically in the city of Liu. Issei. I understand. Lumen. After you faced Oshul, the Adeptus found your body before it sank deep into the sea. You must thank them, as they acted quickly and got you out in time. A little more and you don't count it. Issei. I see. Lumen. So how did you manage to get there on time? Issei. I was watching everything from the beginning. According to what you told me, I know how events should happen. When I saw that something didn't fit, or rather it wasn't going as it was supposed to, I knew that something changed. Likewise, for things like this I must be prepared. After all, the future is not going to be the same. These are the things that one earns. When there are things like time travel and the union of dimensions involved. Lumen. I'm grateful. If you hadn't intervened I wouldn't be here right now. Issei. You don't have to thank me for anything. I told you I would support you in the shadows gets up. Lumen. Wait, what are you going to do? Issei. Change my clothes and leave. He would change his clothes quickly, but before leaving Lumen stopped him. Lumen. But many people want to see you, including Ningguang and the Adeptus. Issei. Lumen, I'll help you whenever something goes wrong, but getting too involved with your friends might be difficult. Lumen. What do you mean? Issei. Eula got involved with me, she ended up in a place where she almost died, and if that were not enough, she discovered that I am not human. I am grateful that it was her. I do not know if someone else would keep the secret. Lumen. My friends are trustworthy, Issei. I don't think they'll reveal your secrets. Issei. I know, however, if they get involved with me they will see the bloody side of my world. I won't say that I won't get involved with them in the future, but for now I want to keep my distance. Lumen. I respect your decision, but I know my friends, definitely, even if you don't want to, in the end you relate to them. Issei. I understand, I'll take it into account, now if you excuse me I'll leave, tell them to escape. Payman. Wait. At that moment Payman entered the room. Issei. Oh hello Payman. Payman. Seriously you're leaving now? Issei. Yes, I will keep in touch with you. Payman. Payman wanted to teach you Liu. Issei. I was here for a few days, I think I know everything about this place. Payman. Please. Issei. Did you want to teach me Liu or did you want me to treat you to lunch? Payman. Haha. Issei. That tells me everything. Payman. I have to show you the restaurant, I mean the cuisine of Liu. Issei. Okay, in a few days when everything is calm, I will come to invite you to eat. Payman. Yuppie. Issei. Lumen, how was it with the Geo-Archon? Lumen. Things remained the same on that side, Signora took the Gnosis. Payman. It's a shame we can't avoid it. Issei. I think it's better this way, things are very different now, if we don't want everything to be chaos we must be careful. Lumen. That's true. Issei. Well, I'll see you later. But those words Issei disappeared, night had fallen, and Issei blended into the crowd of people in the city of Liu. Payman. So what are we going to tell the others? Lumen. Well, we'll have to think about that in the meantime. Ningguang. Think about what? At that moment they noticed the arrival of Ningguang. Payman. No. Lumen. What are you doing here? Ningguang. I thought I should present my thanks to the boy who saved my life and all Liu. Lumen. Unfortunately she just left, she doesn't like to draw too much attention, so I try to leave as soon as possible, although that contradicts her last-minute entries. Ningguang. It's the first time I've seen someone so shy. Lumen. He's not shy, I'd say he's very careful. Ningguang. Careful. Well I guess it's normal considering his situation. Lumen. I'll thank him for you if you want. Ningguang. No need, I'll thank him later, for now do you think you can tell me about him? Lumen. Honestly, apart from his name, I don't think I can tell you anything else about Issei. Ningguang. I see, okay if you see him let him know that he is invited to the Jade Chamber to have some tea, in turn that the Adeptus also want to talk to him. Lumen. I will give you the information. Ningguang. Thank you very much, I feel that he will be a very important person in the future, and my intuition tells me that he is very valuable. Lumen. Agreed knowing Issei and how powerful he is currently, he will definitely be too valuable in the future, many forces will have him in their sights, I dare say they might want to recruit him by any means. But Issei. His steps were quiet, he could hear people talking about what happened on Oshel. Issei. Things haven't calmed down yet, but I guess this is normal, the city was almost devastated, and it was all because of the Fatui, they really test my patience, but I wonder what Signora's reaction will be when she finds the corpses of her fellow Fatui smiles. Elsewhere. There was blood all over the place, traces of a brutal fight are seen everywhere, from scratches on the walls, to corpses dismembered in multiple ways, and of course, they were all part of the Fatui. Lady. Who did this? The whole place began to freeze, but then warmed up, Signora was about to explode with rage, when footsteps behind her were heard. Tartaglia. You should calm down, there is no point in destroying the place more than it already is. Signora. It's you Tartaglia, do you know what happened here? Tartaglia. A fight. Signora. I'm not in the mood for jokes. The cold advanced to where he was, then Tartaglia looked at her and spoke. Tartaglia. I'm honestly as surprised as you are, but I see this has happened before. Lady. What? Tartaglia. Previously in Mondstadt, subordinates informed me of a brutal massacre at one of our bases, apparently we angered someone dangerous. Lady. Do you think it was the traveler? Tartaglia. Lumen. You think she's so brutal? No, this looks more like it was made by an animal than a human. Lady. That doesn't help at all. Tartaglia. Well, I haven't done anything to anger people with such destructive potential, and you? Lady. I am very careful with what I do, I don't. At that moment the image of Issei comes to mind, the meeting between her, Venti and Issei, when she snatched his gnosis from Venti. Tartaglia. From your face it seems that you remember something. Signora. There is a boy named Issei, I have messed up some of our plans in Mondstadt, but I didn't think he could do something like that, honestly I'm still not sure if it was him. Tartaglia. That's your problem, you judge by the outside and don't look at the inside. Lady. What do you want to tell me? Tartaglia. You upset a wolf in sheep's clothing, whatever, I'll find the time to start a conversation with him and find out for myself. Lady. Talk to you? Tartaglia. Well, conversations between men have another meaning, in any case you must continue with your objectives, right? Signora. True, the good thing about going to Inazuma is that I don't have to see your ugly face again. Tartaglia. Whatever you say. After those words, Signora would leave the place angry, while Tartaglia looked at the destruction seriously. What to say? This one was in the mountains of Liu, many hours ago he left the city, of course traveling was fast when he flew. Issei. I will return to Liu when things calm down, for now I think I will stay and observe more of the unique landscape of the nation, it feels lonely without you talking Drake, friend when you are going to return. That is a very good question. Issei. Shocked too. He turned around quickly and noticed that the silhouette of a boy was behind him, but due to his position he couldn't see his body or face, he looked like a shadow. For some strange reason Issei remained alert, he was uneasy in front of him. You know all this is a problem, I warned you it's not like that, but it's my fault, dreams are no longer reliable to communicate, and it's normal, most are never remembered clearly. Issei. Who are you and what are you talking about? I am the creator of this world. Issei. Wait, creator, are you a god and archon? I don't like to call myself a god, nor am I an archon, I would never be something like that. Issei. His voice sounds very deep. You know, I wouldn't be here in front of you if things hadn't come to this extreme. Issei. What exactly? Well, many things, the truth is there are so many things to talk about that it would take me a long time, I even asked myself if restarting or destroying everything would be the best. Issei. Enough bragging, your idle talk ends here, if you come looking for a fight, that's what you'll get. I don't recommend it, honestly the last thing you want is to fight with me. Issei. I definitely want to. Now pulls out his sword, you appear out of nowhere and say a lot of things from your mouth that I don't understand, so I'm going to shut you up with blows, to see if you speak better later. He pushed himself towards him to attack him, while his opponent only walked forward. I told you that's not what you want to do. Issei. Shut up. But before he could reach him his body stopped, his arms released his sword and bent, at the same time the dark silhouette of the subject disappeared, when he walked forward the moonlight illuminated him. Are you okay? That person made Issei tremble, for some strange reason his body rejected the intention of attacking the subject, forcing his body only made him spit blood, the presence of that man made him too uneasy. Issei. Wipes the blood from his mouth. You tell me who the hell are you? Andres. I am the author of this story, my name is Andres. At that moment, the most unexpected thing in the entire multiverse had happened. Chapter 27. The Everything and the Nothing. The figure in front of Issei was terrifying, or at least it was for Issei. He felt like those eyes could see through his own existence, which made him extremely uneasy. His senses told him run, go, you're going to die, and he immediately heard them. Issei. I have to go and make a plan or. Andres. Kneel. Issei. Falls to his knees. What? After his words from him, Issei's body from him obeyed him and knelt down, slowly Andres began to walk towards Issei. Andres. You're alone Issei. Issei. Move body move. Andres. A world of darkness awaits you, and death awaits living beings. Issei. Move body. Andres. There is nothing you can do, you are strong, but I am above strength. Issei. I'm going to die. Andres. I am the end and I have come for you. His hands rested on Issei's face. Issei. God. Issei seeing him knew or felt that it was the end for him, until he saw his next action. Andres. Hahaha, did you really think I was going to do something stupid to you? She slowly removed her hand from his face, and Issei's body was able to move again. Issei. But what? Andres. I'm sorry for any hurts I caused you, I'll fix it. Snaps fingers. After snapping his fingers, Issei's body would be in top condition. Issei. Who are you? Andres. I already told you, I am the author of this story. Issei. What does that mean? Andres. We should talk, let's find a place to chat, from what I see my voice has already compassed itself, and I don't speak in such a dark way. Issei. Of course. What is this guy? They both reached the top of a mountain in Liu, then Andres just had to move his hand away from him, then a table, with 2 chairs and 2 cups of coffee appeared. Andrew. Let's sit down. Issei. Yes. Both would sit facing each other. Andres. Takes a sip of coffee. You must have a lot of questions. Issei. What did you mean when you said you were the author of this story? Andres. Puts down cup. That's right, I created this story, you can call me the author, the creator, the omnipotent writer or. Issei. God. Andres. Looks at him. It's more complicated than that. Issei. Then how about you explain everything to me from the beginning? Andres. Okay, how much do you know about the multiverse? Issei. Little, but I know that Rizivim mentioned it many times in the last conversation we had. Andres. Correct, it was before being in this new world. Issei. He said there were other versions of me, many possibilities, but I can't understand that part. Andres. Then I think it would be better for you to see this lights up his hand. When you shake my hand you will know many things. However, you may think that I am lying and trying to kill you if you distrust me, which is normal in this situation. Issei. Honestly, you don't need to resort to such tricks to kill me. If you want my life, you can kill me whenever you want. I knew it when I saw you. There's no chance I'll beat you. Andrew? True. Issei. Here we go. Shakes his hand from him. In an instant he and Andres were in a blank space. Issei. What is this place? Andres? Where will you know the truth? Long ago, before the multiverse, a presence created the metaverse, the Zero Universe, a universe where a story written by that presence was followed, and to this day it continues to be written. The story revolved around a particular boy, Hyodo Issei, someone perverted, but good-hearted, who was killed by a fallen angel, became a demon, and awakened the power of the Red Emperor Dragon. Together with his friends he lives great adventures. Issei. This is my life. Andrew? Something like that. Then the other presences admired his story, they saw it, read it and enjoyed it. All the other presences admired the creative presence of such a story, of such a work of art. In particular, one of them admired his work more than anyone else. I have loved that universe, I have loved that creation. When he was having a bad time, when he was alone, and of course when other people made fun of him or hurt him, he would see that story, that universe again. Then all the bad things in his mind disappeared and a smile formed, all the pain went away, then happiness came. That story really made him happy. Then one day he had an idea, why not create a story based on what that presence created, why not create many of them, but different at the same time. This is how the multiverse was born, 12 universes and 12 dimensions. Issei. What is this? Andres? Your birth, or rather the birth of everyone. The multiverse would remain untouched by the metaverse, since that presence was not considered worthy of touching the original work, done by someone equal to him, but older. Therefore the metaverse remains unchanged, so that the multiverse survives. Issei. What do you mean, so that we survive? Andres? I discovered that if one of my stories went to the original universe, the Zero Universe, or rather the metaverse, then everything would be erased. It is because there are laws for you that prohibit your contact, since you, or rather your stories, are born based on that universe. Issei. Just for that? Andres? Yes, just like when building a building, if you destroy the pillars at the base, it collapses with all the floors, in the end everything falls. The presence decided to do the following, the story would be different, but it would focus on a single person whom I admired, therefore regardless of appearance, the central person would bear that name, Hyodo Issei. Issei. Hey. Andres? Don't get me wrong, it's not that it only focuses on you, the story can't always be about just one person. The correct way to say it or interpret it is that all the Issei in the multiverse are the center of it. That means that you are the center of your universe. Issei. Shocked because I. Andres? Because just like your version of the metaverse, although they are not 100% similar, they retain the best values. Can you tell me if it is not worthy to make the center someone who dies for his friends, someone who prefers to die than seeing another suffer, who sacrifices parts of his body if necessary? Honestly, there is no better candidate to have that symbol. Issei. A symbol? Andres? Those who are the center of their universe, you and your other versions, are a symbol. Issei. Of what? Andrew? Hope. Knowing that the metaverse and the multiverse could not meet, he created gems of unimaginable power and placed them outside the metaverse, like a protective field, a barrier to prevent the creation of infinite universes. Issei. But you created us, why would infinite universes be created? Andres. There are laws that even witnesses like me must follow, cause and effect are one of them. The 12 original universes are my creations, but the power or form that I used to create it was based on the metaverse, and the basis was a questions. Issei. A question. Andrew? Yes. What would happen? What would happen if I had taken the right path instead of the left, if I had not been born, if I had been rich, if I died that day, etc.? Everything is formed around a simple question. That question gives rise to the multiverse. The metaverse does not change, but instead all the variables that generate doubts, all the thoughts of those people, everything comes together and a universe is formed. The metaverse expels variables by having a fixed line of destiny, generating universes, but the multiverse accepts variables by not having a fixed line and a written destiny. Andres? Through that, he created the multiverse and used the gems as a barrier to prevent the creation of more universes, but the moment he created the 12 universes, the laws of cause and effect began to play their game. Issei. They created more and more, he couldn't stop. Andres? But the gems served as protection, a barrier that eliminates creations by the law of cause and effect. Issei. And then? Andres? I watched my creations create their own story, that way I observed their stories but did not interfere. Issei. But you are the creator of the multiverse. Andres. But I decided not to control your destiny, you create your own story, I do not exercise any power over you. Issei. But can you? Andres. You ask that because of everything that happened before Rizavum. Issei. Yes. You could. Andres. Yes, but as I told you, there are laws involved, even I have to follow certain rules. Issei. But being like you can be above the laws. Andres. Without order, there is chaos, and when there is chaos, then everything ends up destroyed. Issei. What do you mean? Andres. Interfering in a universe is something I cannot do. If I do it and break the rules, the laws would destroy your universe, and it would be the permanent elimination of this story. Issei. What? Andres. I am above all the laws, but if I destroy them then everything is above, laws do not exist just because they prevent everything from being chaos and the multiverse from being destroyed. Issei. Buck. Andres. I know it may seem unfair, but as I said, nothing happens because I want it to, everything is under your control, you create your own destiny, it's the same for any being in your universe. Issei. I have a question, even if I am the center of the universe, can I die? Andres. Yes, that doesn't change anything. There are laws that existed before I even created the universe. They are the most basic laws. Life and death, time and space. Issei. Yes. Andres. There are laws that I have created for a specific universe and to maintain balance. Issei. Can you use the laws? Andres. Yes, but I can't use them for someone else, I can only use them for my own selfish benefit, so I designed it to maintain order. Issei. Yes. Andrew. However. Issei. Hey. Andrew. Create a supreme law for all universes, that law is above all laws, if someone from said universe reaches an unimaginable level of power, then he will be able to be above the laws and be the supreme and almighty god of said universe. Issei. That means. Andres. Your family, all those who died, you could get them back just by wishing for it. Issei. I could see them again. Andres. But that road is long, currently the few candidates to stand out are Issei from Universe 2 Issei the return of the hero of the factions and Issei from Universe 12 Issei solo leveling DXD, currently they are the strongest, but they have only touched a small particle of being a supreme, in my opinion, the Issei from Universe 2 is the closest to becoming supreme. Issei. Ha. The goal is too far away. Andres. But not impossible. Issei. You showed me this because you need something from me, right? Andrew. Yes. Issei. And what is that? Andrew. Prevent the destruction of all existence. Issei. Shocked what? Andres. Something threatens the multiverse. Issei. But you are a being that can do anything. Andres. I can't intervene directly, that's why I only limit myself to giving you information, in fact things are so bad that I had to come in quotes personally, in your universes I can only give information, as I did through that dream. Issei. That dream? Andres. Come on Issei remember, I know you can. Issei. Is it that dream? Flashback. Where am I? What is this place? I'm very sleepy, I want to sleep, let me close my eyes. His mouth did not move, just like his eyes, it was as if his voice came out of nowhere, through his eyes I could see everything around, even 360 degrees without standing or moving. Issei. Issei wake up. You must wake up. Who speaks to me? She's coming back out of all the universes she fell into, yours the only one that merged all her dimensions, becoming a dimensionless universe. Who speaks to me? The multiverse war was not the end. She's not dead. She's coming back. And now that the walls between universes have closed you're alone. Or. Multiverse. Queeniers. It seems that we ran out of time. Wait. Remember you must stop her rebirth of her ... or you will not be able to stop her anymore. Stop who? Luck. Of whom you speak? Of. End of flashback. Issei. You were the voice of my dream. Chapter 28. Information. Andres. That's right, I was the one who communicated with you in that dream, which was easy when you were unconscious and about to drown. Issei. Yeah, well I don't think I'll thank you for that. Andres. Things are very serious. Issei. What do you mean? Andrew. I'll show you. Since the beginning of the multiverse there are portals that connect to other universes. The story begins in Universe 2 Issei the return of the hero of the factions, known as the universe that committed taboo and broke the universal laws. Issei. How did he do it? Andres. With my creation. One of the beings of Universe 2 Better Call Death reached the ends of the metaverse and found my gems, they obviously have a power above the laws, he used his power and extinguished all life in the universe, fortunately your version of that universe was saved, however he also fulfilled a selfish wish. He went back in time to save his people, not knowing that this would cause a chain of events throughout the multiverse. Issei. What does that mean? Andrew. That changed destiny and his life of him, the lives of all his other versions of him, like you. Originally there would not be a 12-dimensional fusion in this universe. 3 laws were broken by using those gems. Death, the villain of Universe 2, broke the law of life by extinguishing everything. Issei from Universe 2 broke the law of time by returning it, generating fluctuations in time of such magnitude that they affected the other universes, that changed the life and destiny of many, breaking with it the third and most important law of all, since I created the multiverse, the law of balance. Issei. Balance, can something so vague be called a universal law? Andres. Balance is part of order, and as I said, without order there is chaos, where there is evil there will also be goodness, one cannot exist without the other, it applies to light and darkness, day and night, there are things in this universe that go hand in hand. Issei. Honestly, I find myself in the same situation as my version of Universe 2, I know the despair he must have felt, and I can't say that I'm not tempted to go back in time, but I don't blame him, even if he has to do directly or indirectly with my situation. Andres. Partly it was him and partly it was me. Issei. You. Andres. I had told you that I cannot interfere in their universes, however there is always an exception to everything, this was one of them. Since 3 laws were broken, the law of life and time would collect the debt of the Universe 2. The law of life was satisfied with the death of death in Universe 2. The law of time remains unsatisfied. Issei. Why do you refer to laws as subjects, not as invisible forces? Andres. Because the laws are both. Issei. What? Andres. The laws that have been there since the beginning of time, which are omnipresent, have a physical form. Issei. That's not possible unless. Andres. Yes, when creating the multiverse and the laws that came or were created with it, I gave them a physical form. Issei. You're telling me that time is a living being. Andres. Yes, apart from being upset with Issei from Universe 2, he is also upset with Lumen from your universe, for a certain time he is a man to be exact. Issei. Shocked. Andres. I think that time could have communicated with Lumen. Issei. Are you trying to kill her? Andres. As I said, the laws are dissatisfied and long for payment, the life of the person who broke their law is paying enough. Issei. I won't let that happen. Andres. I know, but let me tell you that the laws are quasi-supreme, they can never be completely supreme, but just by being half of a supreme, you can already get an idea of their power. Issei. I have a question, can laws die? He asked that question as if it were nothing, not knowing the magnitude of the question. Andres. I guess it's normal considering that your priority is your friends, the answer is if they can die, there are no consequences for their murder, in fact it's the opposite, if a law dies, the one who killed it will obtain its power, added to the fact that even if the physical body of that law dies, the law would continue to exist in its non-physical state, maintaining the balance. Issei. That's good to know. Andres. Don't misunderstand him, you are far from facing him in time, for him you are just an earlier. Issei. That's what I assumed. Andres. So going back to my explanation, one law was already satisfied, the second one is seeking its payment, and the third one I had to personally take care of. The law of balance is the most important of all, if it collapses then all the universes would fall apart. Seeing the circumstances I interfered for the first time. To maintain balance, create circumstances, enemies, allies, subjects or people in said universes that were not originally there. Repairing the law of balance with himself, thus saving the multiverse. Filling a void created by the breakup, but it was simply that, a void, that just had to be filled. The rest of what will happen next, I didn't care at that moment. Issei. What subjects did you create? Andres. It's better that you do N''T no. In Universe 12 Issei Solo Leveling DxD I created 2 subjects, but one of them realized his purpose, and is currently the center of many changes in that universe. Issei. And that's bad. Andres. Yes, because he is upset when he realizes the purpose of his existence. Do you know what his purpose is? Issei. Which one? Andres. Exists, just that. Issei. What? Andres. No matter what he does, he just exists, his life has no other value, he basically creates it in order to maintain balance, to fill the void, just that, to create for the sake of creating, even if the subjects die, their role was fulfilled, they filled the void. Issei. How could you? Andres. I regret it too, but the law of balance had to be repaired at that time, now that someone from Universe 12 realized his origin and why, he is causing disasters in that universe, in its history. Issei. With this universe, what did you do to fill the void? Andrew. I can't tell you that, I'm sorry. Issei. I understand. Andres. Then I will continue with the rest of the story. In the end what happened in Universe 2 led me to act, then when I helped the law of balance and it was restored, it led to the following events. The existence of the multiverse was revealed, Universe 5 Issei Infamous Second Son DXD, and Universe 6 Issei Black met, both universes were reflections of each other, but one ended up as a hero and the other as a villain. Issei. Wait, you said that in all the universes we were a symbol of hope. Andres. And I also said that you had free will, you can be evil if you want, you can kill if you want, hope can turn into despair, you understand that right, the fact that one of your versions became or was evil, it is always according to what he decides. Now the end of that battle ended with Black's death, however another enemy from the same universe as Black came and defeated their version of that universe. While in another universe, in Universe 9 Issei God of War DXD Athena opened Pandora's box, causing several events including, which infected your weak and dying version of Universe 5, however Athena did not realize that one of the gems was in the box. Issei. How did you get there? Andres. When the Issei of Universe 2 used the gems, one may have spread throughout the multiverse, ending up there. But the gem and the evils inside it, Athena thought she had control, but the gem noticed a curse on your version's body, and based on that curse, she spiritually revived her, Rainer, inside your body. Issei. Shocked at. The words I heard from Ella made her body from Ella tremble, of all the people he never wanted to remember she was first. Andres. So this is where the real problem started. She now finished off Athena, she was in control, and was going to revive completely in flesh and blood, but your versions from other universes came to stop her in the end. There was a sacrifice, the sacrifice of the Issei who had been possessed by her, all thanks to Ria's making him see reason, but with her death, everyone believed that they had stopped Rainer's resurrection. But they were wrong, she caught the Issei of Universe 9 Issei God of War DXD, and went for the other gems, because she had been resurrected with a love for you, a non-pure love, a love implanted as a side effect of her new life, she planned to make all the Issei hers. In his fight against the Issei of Universe 2 Issei the return of the hero of the factions, he used the gems to revive one of your versions, more specifically the one who died sacrificing himself. The gems were now recovering from that action. Issei. I thought that for objects like this, reviving the dead was not a big deal. Andres. The gems were originally created to regulate or prevent the expansion of the multiverse, their energy is infinite and can grant any wish without limits. When your version of Universe 2 used the gems to revive another version of you, you also wished that their infinite energy would become finite, naturally they had to recharge themselves, which would take time. Issei. I understand. Andres. Likewise, the power of the gems is on a multiversal scale, Rainer could cancel that wish with another wish, but they did not let the energy recharge to the maximum. Issei. You could say they were lucky. Andres. Yes, without that wish everything would have been a failure, and Rainer would have fulfilled her wish. Then the final battle was fought, Rainer against your versions from other universes, the situation was desperate, even the Issei of Universe 2 called more versions of you to fight. Rainer's death was at the hands of Black, who managed to redeem himself. Black destroyed the black gem, the gem of death. Both died disintegrated by the explosion, which took a quarter of the planet where they were fighting. But even in her death, she used the gem to bring with her the beast of the apocalypse, that planned to go to the metaverse and destroy everything, there would be nothing left, in the end to kill that beast they destroyed the gems, fortunately the Issei of Universe 7 Issei the werewolf DXD was immortal, so he carried out the final action, killed the beast and destroyed the planet with it. In the end everyone returned home and the portals between the universes closed. Issei. Sounds like a perfect ending. Andrew. Too much. Issei. Then what happened? Andres. When Black destroyed the gem, Rainer should have died with him, and so it was, but she was revived through the death gem, she was connected to it. Issei. What the hell happened? Andres. I forgot that the gems were so powerful as to violate the very laws of the universe, and in that explosion Rainer instead of disintegrating completely, was fast, and to avoid her death, she divided her body and soul into two fragments, one in Universe 12 of Issei Solo Leveling DXD, and another in Universe 11 Genshin Impact DXD right here. Issei. You're trying to tell me that. Andres. Rainer is not dead at all. Issei. Buck. Andres. But he is weak, or rather he has no body, he is not even the shadow of that person who planned to dominate all of you and endangered the multiverse. Issei. Can I win then? Andres. Yes, snaps fingers. After that action they would return to the table. Issei. You want my help because you can't intervene in this universe. Andrew. Correct. Issei. But then how are you here and can you give me the information? Andres. You know the concept of the higher plans. Issei. No. Andres. basically think of a plane where there are beings superior to you that you cannot access. A clear example is that 2D beings never interact with 3D or 4D beings. Reality is different. If a being from a higher plane descends to a lower plane, this plane would be destroyed, because being from a higher plane has a higher level of reality, power, consciousness and understanding. Just as I can be all-powerful by descending to this plane, I would also destroy it if I descended, because the plane does not support my form. The same for you. Issei. For me. Andres. If you descended to a lower plane, you would be a god for them. The beings of lower planes perceive us as superior presences, when we could be just normal humans on our same plane. In turn, we the presences perceive the lower planes as stories. Issei. I see, that's why you said you were the author of this story. You perceive my existence as a story. Andres. Correct, the only way for a being from a higher plane to descend to another is by creating a body for said plane. Issei. You're talking about that. Andres. I am here and at the same time I am not here. My consciousness and mind are here with you, but my real body is still in that plane. Issei. That way you can be in lower planes and create everything to your liking. That way you created the multiverse, first creating your body for a lower plane. Andres. Correct, a body with powers beyond imagination. However, as I said, it is the first time I use it to enter a universe. Even in this body I am so strong that fighting would basically mean the destruction of this universe, and that with only using a part of my power. Issei. Now I see what it means to just give information. Andres. That's why I need you to recover Rainer's fragment. Give it to me so I can get out of this universe and thus destroy Rainer once and for all. Since outside of the universes I can use my powers with total freedom. Issei. I will help you, but I need help. Andrew. I can't resurrect your loved ones. Issei. No, you must tell the law of time to leave Lumen alone. Andres. Fortunately that is possible for me, deal. Issei. And where do I start? Andres. Gives him a compass. Issei. Is this a compass? Andres. It will guide you to where the fragment of Rainer is. I think in this world there is something called domains, right? Issei. Yes, don't tell me that. Andres. That's right, the fragment has created an artificial domain. It has the energy of the death gem. The gem is destroyed, but a little of its power exists in that fragment. Although the gem was black, when its energy was used it turned purple, so you will notice that domain clearly when you arrive. Issei. Just to know, what will happen if I fail? Andres. The fragment will take all the energy of the universe, then the end of this universe, followed by searching for its other part, resulting in the resurrection of Rainer. She will revive as a quasi-supreme, then the damn end of the multiverse. Issei. Then I won't fail. Andres. I'm telling you Issei, the situation became so screwed up that I had to personally intervene to give you the information. I wish I had realized it sooner, but that's what you get when you give your stories complete freedom. Issei. Do you regret it? Andres. Smiles because I would if I completely love my own creations. But those words Andres disappeared in front of Issei, apparently he had left that universe. And Issei had a new mission to save the multiverse alone. Chapter 29. The worst domain ever. After what happened before, I focused on my current mission. I used the compass to guide me towards the Rainer fragment, however I couldn't even visualize the domain I was in. I could fly, but I preferred to walk for greater precision. I guess that was one of the reasons why the path felt longer. As I continued walking I realized two things. The first was that I was inexplicably approaching the city of Liu. The second was that I could feel eyes watching me, so I preferred to keep my guard down and make that person believe that I had not noticed. At that moment the compass glowed purple. Issei's eyes expanded. He looked around and realized that he was in front of a mountain behind the city of Liu, but there was nothing around. Immediately the compass began to spin in circles without stopping. Issei. This doesn't make sense, there is no domain nearby. Tartaglia. But look who we have here, it's Issei, the boy everyone's been talking about. Tartaglia appeared in front of him, however Issei remained unmoved. In fact he knew that this meeting could happen, considering that he massacred many Fatui in the past. Issei. Gosh, I was hoping I wouldn't have to fight. You're Tartaglia, aren't you? Tartaglia. Do you know me? Issei. I'm Lumen's friend, she told me about you. Tartaglia. Seriously, what did he say about me? Issei. That you are one of the 11, also that you are a Fatui who was beaten up for endangering Liu, among other things, also that the Oshul thing was your doing. Tartaglia. Smiles. Well I hope you don't take it the wrong way, it was a mission. Issei. Many die from completing missions like that. Tartaglia. You are arrogant, but I know you must have something to justify your arrogance. Issei. Does this mean that the talk is over and you will leave? Tartaglia. This means I will prove your justification for being arrogant. The water began to swirl around him, immediately two water daggers were generated. Issei. Because nothing is ever simple. Tartaglia. Now let's see what you're made of. Goes over to hit him. Shock. Shock. Issei. This is unexpected. Tartaglia. For me it is too. Issei. I was wondering who was following me, but I didn't expect it to be an Adeptus. Xiao. I will not allow a battle to take place behind Liu City, especially when I know that the scope of this battle can reach Liu City itself. Xiao's spear had stopped the water dagger in Tartaglia's left hand. Tartaglia. On the other hand, I didn't expect to find you here, Mr. Zhongli. Zhongli. I just felt a very nice breeze in the area. I decided to go out for a walk. Zhongli was standing 5 meters away from Issei and Tartaglia. Tartaglia. I'm sorry for the situation you found us in, but I have debts to collect from Issei. Issei. Shouldn't those debts be collected by Signora? Tartaglia. Don't act smart. I'm not proud of the way the Fatui work, I don't even like it, but battle companions are battle companions, and honestly there was some reason to brutally kill them in the first place. Issei. Was there any reason to put a city like Liu, with thousands of lives, in danger? Tartaglia. Is this what it comes down to for you? Issei. Where I come from, enemies don't get second chances, because we don't get them either if we hesitate. Tartaglia. So there is no other solution for this? Issei. Conflict is inevitable, but first let me ask one thing, Lumen, where is Payman? Lumen. I left her in Liu resting. Lumen had stopped the movement of the water dagger in Tartaglia's right hand to the point that she was in front of him with her sword at her neck so that he would not move that hand. Tartaglia. Lumen, our dispute is over. Lumen. Can't you let this go? Tartaglia. I'm sorry, but this type of disagreement is only resolved after the battle is over. Issei. Are you sure you want to provoke a battle with everything against you? Tartaglia. Despite my situation, it actually doesn't look that bad to me. Issei. It's because you haven't looked behind you. Ganyu. Please let's avoid this confrontation. 10 meters behind Tartaglia stood Ganyu, drawing his bowstring, ready to fire the arrow charged with cryo-energy. Tartaglia. I guess I can stop my attack for now, but rest assured Hyodo Issei that I will not stop until I fight you, and the winner of our fight will decide the fate of the other. Issei. Noted looks at the compass. The compass kept spinning in circles, everyone withdrew their weapons. Lumen. Well, I'm glad everything has calmed down. Zhongli. I guess it can be called a fortunate event. Issei. I'm glad I avoided an unnecessary fight, but this compass keeps spinning in circles, what's going on? At that moment, beneath everyone, the ground would break. Lumen. Issei. Damn it. Zhongli. How much evil energy. Xiao. Mr. Zhongli. Tartaglia. But what? The purple glow illuminated everything, blinding everyone present and making them disappear. They had been absorbed into the artificial domain. By the time everything cleared up, Issei was alone and there was only mist around him. Issei. But where am I? Andres. In the artificial domain that I told you about. Issei. But what where from? Andres. Calm down, look at the compass. Issei. Hey. The compass works as a communicator. Andres. I created her first of all, obviously I would give her certain options to see your progress. Issei. Well, the information would be useful, can you tell me something about this artificial domain? Andres. Yes, and I must tell you that you are in one of the most dangerous places in the multiverse. Issei. What, but it's just one domain. Andrew. It's not just a domain, don't even compare the artificial domain of Mondstadt with this one. Issei. You really know everything that happens in the multiverse. Andres. Listen to me, this domain was artificially created by a fragment of Rainer's body and soul, this domain is like her Della body Della, and you are inside it. Issei. What's supposed to happen to me? Andres. Honestly speaking, do you know what the Rainer you know was like? Issei. A miserable whore who used me, played with me and killed me on my first date, leaving me with a trauma, added to a curse before dying that affected my relationship with Riaz later on. Andres. Correct, but this one was revived by the curse that one of your versions from another universe had, however, she was revived with an intense desire and psychopathic love for you, or well, your versions. Issei. A self-imposed love. Andres. Yes, the worst of all is that she was aware of that, and despite that, she still wanted to go ahead with her plan to possess all the Issei. Issei. Okay, I understand, it's dangerous, I'll be able to handle it. Andres. No, you don't understand, she is the craziest of all, she infected the mind of one of your versions, she almost led to the destruction of other universes in her resurrection, when she revived she captured one of your versions, and had the gems in her possession, the only reason she will not win. Was because of the union of her versions, and more than one had the ability to destroy a country or the world. Issei. What do you mean by that? Andres. She is a shadow of what she was, just a fragment that desperately seeks to revive. Her conscience is strong, aggressive, she wants to prevail no matter the cost, and despite that, her strength is considerably higher than yours, and you are alone to face her. Your chances are low, but you have a chance to win if you use your head. Issei. Okay, I'll be careful. Andres. I hope so, because otherwise the multiverse will disappear. Issei. Pressure doesn't help, you know. Andres. Yes, I know, but it will help you for future experiences. At that moment a voice was heard. I must survive. Issei. Is it me or did I hear a scary voice? Andres. Be careful, the consciousness in the fragment must have been activated when people entered this domain, this place can play tricks on you. Issei would start walking calmly forward, although he couldn't see anything. Issei. Tricks. Are they the guy that this is all a dream? Andres. What if you're already in a dream? Issei. I don't think so, my talk with you wouldn't be happening in my dreams. Andres. Don't trust that, I am a presence from another plane, I can enter dreams, remember. Issei. True looks at his fingers. I don't think I'm in a dream, according to the rules, in dreams if you look at your hands, you'll see more than 5 fingers, you can't read either, but my fingers are normal, so I'm still in reality. Andres. True, unless it's a dream within a dream. Issei. That's possible, having 2 dreams at the same time. Andres. Yes, but don't worry, it's not your case, at least not now, you don't have 2 dreams. Issei. That's a relief, then I rule out the dream. Andres. Rule out that you are not trapped yet, but do not rule out that it can happen or is happening. Issei. That would be a colossal problem for me if I hadn't realized it. Andres. What is the dream and what is reality? Definitely if that happens you will not realize it. Issei. Could you tell me, was I trapped? Andres. Don't trust that either, if the dream takes place in Rainer's domain, she will have more control over the dream than I will, so telling you that you are trapped will be forbidden to me. Issei. You can't force it. Andres. Do you want me to destroy your mind for this? Issei. I understand without risks, for now I'm worried about Lumen, I didn't want to involve her in this. Andres. It's not like you had a choice, it was a fortuitous event. At that moment a red hair would illuminate the path and Issei would be captivated, this hair color was Ria's. Issei. Laughs. Andres. Issei, be careful, it seems that the domain will play with the tricks of illusions. Issei. I dislike this kind of tricks, but I have nowhere else to go. Andres. Okay, go ahead, but don't think that illusions can't hurt you or touch you, I'll talk to you later. After those last words the voice coming from the compass disappeared and Issei put it away, he prepared to move forward, although he couldn't see anything but red hair, the fog was thick, he didn't even know if he was stepping on the ground. Immediately the place changed to a desert but mountainous terrain. Issei. But what the hell, I didn't even notice the change, I guess it's true I'm in one of the most dangerous places that exist. At that moment, footsteps at high speed were heard heading towards Issei, immediately upon seeing who it was he pulled out his sword. Shock. Shock. Hello. Tartaglia. Hello again Hyodo Issei. Issei. Book. Tartaglia. You are strong, being able to block my hydro daggers at this distance with your sword held in one hand and responding with a blow to my face with your other hand shows great reflexes, quick thinking and enormous brute strength. Issei. Heavens how troublesome this is. Tartaglia. There is a list. Issei. Are you really going to do this considering our situation? Tartaglia. This time no one will interrupt us. Issei's sword was stopping Tartaglia's daggers while the mark of his fist on his face remained had. Issei. Don't do this. Tartaglia. We are in a domain, getting out of here will be a problem, but the thing is, we are the only ones here and I have no guarantee of being able to collect the debts or fight you if we leave, since there are certain people on your side. Issei. And your brightest option is to fight among ourselves, in a domain that may be filled with who knows what or how many monsters. Tartaglia. Yes. At that moment Tartaglia would take distance and Issei too, both stared at each other. Issei. I hope this is worth it for you, you know. Tartaglia. As I said, the disputes between us will be resolved in the following way, the 2 of us will fight, the winner decides what happens to the loser, that includes whether he lives or dies. Issei. Then I guess there's no other choice Lumen, I know he'll be of help to you later, so I won't kill him, but a few broken bones, that's beyond my power. Tartaglia. Then. Issei. You said it, words are unnecessary. Tartaglia. Then here I go Hyodo Issei. Issei was on a mission that could decide the fate of the multiverse, and things were only getting more complicated. Chapter 30. Issei vs Tartaglia. Shock. Blow. The water daggers created with hydro energy clash fiercely with Issei's sword. Both Tartaglia and Issei were giving their all from the start. Issei. He is an experienced warrior, there is no doubt about that. Tartaglia. He doesn't hesitate to attack me and he doesn't seem to take me seriously. Shock. 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 Blow. Both seemed tight in strength at first glance, but Issei quickly raised his strength and speed, resulting in a cut on Tartaglia's cheek. Tartaglia. He's strong bucking strong, if I had to measure his strength, I'd use a non-human standard. Issei. You better give up on this. Tartaglia. Why? The fun is just beginning. The two would quickly accelerate and begin to move faster, to the point that their movements looked like rays of light, one red and the other blue. Shock. 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 Blow. Impact. Shock. Issei. Wind blades. Tartaglia. Water lance. The clash immediately caused both attacks to be cancelled, causing a temporary rain. Issei. Alright now remote stone her. Tartaglia. Hey, this is a joke, it's the same as Lumen, no, this is stronger. Small sharp spikes expanded to the point of going all the way to Tartaglia. Issei. It's over. Tartaglia. Jumps in the air, if I'm up there your attack won't reach me. Issei. You think so, expand. After his words the spikes rose from the ground like huge pillars to the point of reaching Tartaglia. Tartaglia, who jumped into the air, had no support point to dodge the attack, so the attack would be successful no matter what he did. Tartaglia. Haha shit, you're one of the few who forces me to use a cheat. Shock. Burst. At that moment a shock wave was generated to the point that it caused a huge explosion and destroyed Issei's attack. Issei. I see. This is what Lumen said about a true deception. Certainly if we compare the tax collectors, the magicians or any other fatui, it definitely falls short with the deceptions of the 11, but I suppose that they're best soldiers, they give them their best weapons. Tartaglia. Okay, let's continue. Issei. I agree with Lumen, those deceptions are dangerous. Tartaglia. You're strong, let's have fun. Issei. No, I am more than that. At that moment neither of them moved, they simply looked at each other because they knew well that from now on, any attack they made would be 100% fatal. However the silence was broken, Tartaglia made the first move. Tartaglia. Throws lightning. On the other hand, Issei was confident of his defense, so he didn't bother dodging, he was going to block that attack with his arm surrounded by dragon scales. Issei. Come. After his words from him Tartaglia went straight to the attack, he didn't care about anything, and Issei received the attack with his arms. Shock. 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 Blow. Tartaglia was immediately behind Issei. Issei. Spits blood, damn. The impact of your blow was so strong that my internal organs felt it. Tartaglia. Seriously, I'm surprised I only did that minimal amount of damage to you, because honestly I would have blown anyone else's arms off. Issei. Well, I have to admit, I have tough skin, even so this guy was able to scratch my scales during my dragonification, I can't underestimate him. Tartaglia. Tough skin, ha. Well, everyone has their secrets, so it doesn't matter, in the end winning this battle is the only thing that matters. Issei. Yes, it's true, if I want to advance I have to defeat you and so it will be. Immediately Issei turns around and then advances towards Tartaglia, in turn Tartaglia advances towards Issei, but he was faster than before. Shock. Shock. Burst. The force of the collision generated violet lightning throughout the area, in turn Issei's eyes were becoming like those of a dragon. Tartaglia. Deadly stabs. Paced with a short distance, Issei reacted as best he could, stopping the attack with his hands, he felt like his energy was overflowing, inexplicably he didn't know if he could maintain his human appearance for long, but his eyes became more and more like those of a dragon. Issei. I can feel it inside my body, the energy inside me is exploding, it must be because of this domain, it's the only thing I can think of, this can become dangerous. Tartaglia. Even in this form I have not been able to completely break your defense, I guess I will have to go further. Issei. Hey. After he said that, a wave of energy separated them, Tartaglia's entire body began to transform, until it reached its full form with the power of his deception of him. Tartaglia. Now let's see how long you can last. Issei. So that's your full form with all the power of your disappointment. Tartaglia. Exactly. Issei. I'll see what you can do. Tartaglia. Then don't lose sight of me. Issei. What? After saying that, Issei couldn't see him, but Tartaglia was next to him, he stuck his spear in his stomach and pushed him several meters. Tartaglia. Looks at his blood-soaked spear, it seems I was finally able to pierce your defense. Issei. AI a book. It hurts, I have to calm down, my body's energy is getting out of control, and if my dragon powers get out of control, Tartaglia will definitely die. I have to end this quickly, but as for how, I can only think of one thing that could work. At that moment Issei began to release a large amount of elemental energy, the wind began to spin around him, and crystals of the Geo element began to come out of the ground. Flashback. The memory showed us Issei and Lumen in the field, talking calmly. Issei. By the way Lumen, can I ask you something about elemental reactions? Lumen. Of course you want to ask me. Issei. Everything in relation to them, that way I can plan better strategies. Lumen. As you know, when you put elements together, an elemental reaction occurs. Issei. How the Anemo and the Pyro? Lumen. Exactly, what effects do you think that reaction has? Issei. Well, the enemy is being attacked by two elements, so the most common thing is to think of an increase in damage. Lumen. Correct, most common. Issei. But we are not applying that here. Lumen. Exactly, depending on your mastery of the elements you can increase the damage in your reactions. Issei. Mastery, what does that mean? Lumen. Well, if this were a game, mastery could be expressed in numbers, values and percentages, but since life is not a game, let's put it this way, how good are you with your element? Issei. Considering how little time I've been in this world, I'm a rookie. Lumen. Correct, mastery depends on the connection with the element, those with a deeper connection, knowledge about themselves and their element, increase their mastery, as an extra the reactions are enhanced and do much more damage, to the point that they could cause devastating blows. Issei. I understand. Lumen. Another thing elemental reactions can do is lower resistances. Issei. Lower resistances. Lumen. Some enemies, mostly monsters, have very high defenses against the elements, and through elemental reactions, you can lower their defenses to cause a lot of damage, of course if this is used against enemies that have no elemental resistance. Issei. The damage could be abysmal. Lumen. Correct, an example of resistance reduction is the Anemo element, if you put it together or imbue it with any other element, it causes a reduction in resistance of the same element. Issei. Lumen, can you also lower his physical defense? Lumen. Yes, with a superconducting reaction the defense or physical resistance is lowered and it inflicts area damage, but cryo and electro are required for this. Issei. And all the elements react with each other? Lumen. There are some exceptions, for example the Anemo does not react with the Geo, and this in turn does not react with the Anemo due to its characteristics. Issei. I understand, however it is not entirely true. Lumen. What do you mean? Issei. For example, if some kind of reaction doesn't happen, it doesn't mean that it's useless to combine the elements. Lumen. But you couldn't get any benefit in combat by using elements that don't provoke a favorable reaction between the two of you. Issei. That would be correct, however limiting your imagination in combat is not good. Lumen. What are you talking about? Issei. You've heard of tornadoes, hurricanes and cyclones before. Light. Yes, why? Issei. Let's take a tornado as an example, they can be devastating when the winds that oscillate reach between 280 and 370 kilometers per hour. In my old world, it is a force of nature capable of derailing a train, destroying buildings and creating deadly debris. Lumen. Maybe. Issei. Yes, deaths are mostly caused by debris flying or falling with the destructive winds. Now imagine if someone were absorbed by a tornado, what would be their chance of survival if they weren't someone extremely strong? Lumen. Using the Anemo element to create a tornado and the Geo element to simulate debris, which in itself can be harder than the debris of houses or stones, that would be extremely deadly for anyone. Issei. Just because the element doesn't react doesn't mean it loses its usefulness. Lumen. But creating a tornado is. Issei. Mastery is gained by knowing more about your element, but the element itself in its pure form does not need to worry about mastery, but about energy, since it depends on how much element you can generate through your energy. Lumen. You think something like that is even possible? Issei. I dare say yes, and if I dare to do it, I would be unable to use elemental energy for a while. To tell the truth, it would be an attack to end a fight with a sure victory. Lumen. I just hope you don't go that far, no populated area would come out unscathed if you do, or at least try to do something of that magnitude. End of flashback. Tartaglia. What are you planning? Issei. Well, that's a very good question, honestly it's the first time I've done this. Tartaglia. I see a final attack now. Issei. Smiles, you should feel honored and scared, since I will go with you with everything I have. Tartaglia. In that case I will do the same. Tartaglia's deception energy overflowed, he put all his power into the spear, all for a clash. Issei. Lumen was right, if this works well, I shouldn't use it in populated areas. Anemo plus Geo glowing stone tornado. At that moment the wind spun at such speed that a tornado was literally generated and Issei, as the center of it, was with his arms outstretched. Immediately geo-element crystals would begin to fly and spin inside the tornado, completely surrounding it to the point that the tornado became bright. Each geo-crystal was sharp to the point that when combined with the wind force generated by the anemo element, it made it a deadly attack. However, Issei couldn't move, the reason was simple. He couldn't because he was using every last drop of energy to create and maintain that attack. There was no energy left to direct or throw it, as he had spent a considerable amount of energy on Tartaglia earlier when he was fighting with the. However, Issei was confident that he would not have to move, since Lumen had told him about Tartaglia, and he knew that Tartaglia would come towards him first. Tartaglia. Spear of Disappointment. Issei. Okay Tartaglia, come with everything you have. After his words from him Tartaglia responded with everything he had. Immediately the energy exploded on the spear. Tartaglia had used all the energy he had and knew that the side effects of the deception would be devastating, he possibly wouldn't be able to move after this attack. However, he wanted to win, so he put everything aside, he looked at Issei and quickly advanced towards him. Tartaglia. Hey. Issei. Hi. Shock. Both attacks collided fiercely, to the point of generating a huge shock wave, which made the entire domain tremble and ended in a huge explosion. Chapter 31. Wounds. An explosion occurred after the shock wave, violet rays and geocrystals remained on the ground of the desert terrain, but not only that, as an aftermath of the tornado, there was a strong but cool wind. Tartaglia was face up on the ground, blood coming out of his mouth as he looked at the sky. Tartaglia. Spits blood. That attack was definitely one of the best I've ever received, luckily I realized it before and went from attacking to defending myself. At that moment footsteps were heard, a person appeared in front of Tartaglia. It was Zhongli. Zhongli. This is really unfortunate, you chose to fight him, even knowing that this is a domain, if monsters came you would be helpless in your current condition. Tartaglia. Haha, true but I couldn't turn back. Zhongli. You're lucky I came this way. Zhongli would quickly help Tartaglia by lifting him up. Zhongli. Do you think you can walk? Tartaglia. I'm barely standing, give me a few minutes to get going, but fighting, well I'll have to leave that part to you. Zhongli. Now, can you tell me what happened with that over there? Zhongli would point to a hole several meters away from Tartaglia, you couldn't see what was inside, underneath you could only see great darkness. Tartaglia. That was the boy called Issei. Zhongli. So strong he was. Tartaglia. When our attacks collided, a huge shock wave was generated, my spear tried to penetrate and reach him, but when I entered a kind of tornado, things were not so easy. Zhongli. A tornado. It must have used up huge amounts of anemo energy to do so. Tartaglia. The rotating speed of the wind was slowing down my attack to the point that I felt like I was going to fly away or drop my spear, but he also used the geo element to create very sharp geo crystals inside the tornado. Zhongli. Definitely the force of the wind could blow those geo crystals away like nothing. Tartaglia. Yes, they were like millions of needles. When I entered and was being slowed down the real attack began, thousands of crystals hit me at a speed I couldn't see, the tornado I created was surrounded by them, and with just the first impact on my body, I knew I would be finished if I continued looking to attack, so I changed my attack position to defense. Zhongli. With a weapon like the spear, even one created with elemental energy, how do you switch to defense if it attacks your entire body? Tartaglia. It is precisely because it was created with elemental energy that I was able to change to defense. Zhongli. I see. Tartaglia. Yes, the elemental energy spear exploded. When the elements came into contact everything became a huge explosion, it pushed me several meters away, but as for the boy, the ground beneath his feet broke. Zhongli. That explains the whole. Tartaglia. Do you think he's still alive? Zhongli. I think it depends on where he went. Tartaglia. Well, if he lives, he won the battle, so I will pay my debt to him when I can. Zhongli. Well, I think we should move forward or move on. Tartaglia. By the way, where are you from? Zhongli. I come from the south. Tartaglia. Have you ever passed through a green meadow? Zhongli. No, it was a place full of sand like this, but without the mountains. Tartaglia. This doesn't make sense. I come from the south. Zhongli. This domain is abnormal, I've never even seen one like this, it has a huge amount of evil energy, so I think the places within it are constantly changing and moving. Tartaglia. Is there a way out? Zhongli. Yes, there are two ways, and in both the difficulty is the mastery itself. Tartaglia. Because it is constantly changing and moving, we might be late without some way of guiding ourselves. Zhongli. That means if we move forward we could take 2 steps back. Tartaglia. It is a big inconvenience, but we must get going. Zhongli. I will go ahead. Tartaglia. By the way. Zhongli. Yes. Tartaglia. If the domain is constantly moving and changing, that means we could go in any direction, right? Zhongli. You're right. Tartaglia. Then let's go back on our step. Smiles. Zhongli. I think it would be ideal. Smiles. Tartaglia. Good after you. The two of them would start walking towards the south, Tartaglia holding his arm and letting Zhongli go in front. Zhongli. What you said about any direction I think applies to the Issei boy. Tartaglia. What do you mean? Zhongli. Up and down are also directions. Tartaglia. Well, I hope he has luck because I don't want someone as interesting as him to die, especially without giving me a rematch. Tartaglia would take a look at the hole, then continue moving forward. But Issei. This one who had fallen down was unconscious, and inside his mind, in his dreams, he felt that there was no concept of time or space. It was as if he was floating in an infinite and evil darkness. Nightmares occurred within his sleep, tormenting him. Riaz. You let me die. Akeno. It's all your fault. Giba. You were my best friend and you failed me. Azazel. You are a huge disappointment. Zenobia. You should have stayed dead with us. Irina. Your sins will never be forgiven. Greg. You are the worst carrier of all. At that moment Issei would wake up agitatedly. Issei. Wakes up Aya, but what I see, it was a nightmare. Hey, where am I? Issei looked around and could only see a landscape full of green grass. Banyu. Are you okay? At that moment Issei heard a voice several meters ahead. Issei. You're a loser. Banyu. Yes, it is an honor that you remember me as the savior of Liu. Issei. Haha. You don't have to call me that, I'm not a savior. Banyu. Don't say that time you saved us from Oshel, there's no way we would have won without your help, your intervention was key for Liu. Issei. Well, I wasn't going to just sit back and watch Liu get destroyed, by the way, call me Issei. Banyu. Okay, it's a pleasure to meet you, Issei. Issei. I feel like my wounds are being healed. Ganyu, did you help me? Banyu. Yes, I found Issei's body lying on the ground in a serious condition. I couldn't let a beneficiary of Liu die, so I proceeded with basic treatments. Honestly, his body doesn't look human because of the speedy heals. Issei. Yes. I must be lucky. Haha, anyway, thanks Ganyu. Banyu. It's nothing. Issei. Well, let's leave the formalities. Ganyu, can you give me information about the whole situation? Banyu. Sure, when we all fell into this weird domain, I was standing next to the guardian Yaksha. Issei. Are you talking about Xiao? Banyu. Do you know him? Issei. Lumen told me about her friends. Banyu. I understand. Issei. And what happened next? Banyu. I can't describe it in simple words, but a strange phenomenon occurred. When we moved forward, the entire environment changed. We went from a place full of mountains to one full of water. It was very strange, and it kept happening. Then when the two of us continued forward, something happened that made Xiao disappear. Issei. What step? Banyu. Well. I crossed first. He told me to wait 5 minutes before I crossed, and when I did. Issei. He wasn't there anymore, right? Banyu. Yes. Issei. Let me try something. Banyu. Yes. At that moment Issei would take out the compass and notice that the arrow that guided him to the fragment from time to time changed direction. Issei. As I assumed. Banyu. What is that? Issei. It's a compass. Banyu. A compass. But it doesn't look like a normal one. Issei. Of course not, because it is special. To put it simply, this compass is what can guide us within this domain. Banyu. Then we have the solution to move forward. Issei. No, according to the compass everything in this domain is constantly changing and moving. If I'm honest, if we're not careful we could fall further behind than we were going. Banyu. That's what happened to Xiao. Issei. I'm afraid so, but from the stories I heard about him, I know he's strong, he'll definitely be fine. Banyu. Issei, what do we do now? Issei. We have to destroy the source to get out of this domain, so first I need to recover a little more, who knows, and there may be monsters ahead. The fight with Tartaglia definitely cost me dearly. I can't manifest the elemental energy, but it will be temporary. I will recover and continue on my way. Banyu. Understood. Shaking. At that moment the domain began to tremble and a voice was heard. A sinister presence was felt throughout the domain. I must live. I want to survive. I must live again no matter the cost. Banyu. But what is this? Where does that sinister voice come from? Issei. It can't be. Issei's eyes began to tremble, he felt a chill all over his body. Banyu. Issei, are you okay? Issei. Yes, but I think staying still is not possible. Banyu. But in your current situation I don't think you can fight. Issei. I still have my sword and other tricks up my sleeve, don't worry about me. Shaking. Once again the entire domain began to shake, this time with more force and intensity. The voice spoke again with more force. It's all your fault. It's all Issei's fault. It's all Hyodo Issei's fault. Why? Because he refuses to give up. It's all your fault. Because he refuses to be mine. And you? He. Issei, what is that voice talking about? Issei. Ganyu, let's go, takes her by the hand. Issei quickly took her by the hand and started running. In his other hand he saw the compass, and it seemed that they were going to advance further towards the center of the domain if they crossed at this moment. Ganyu. I don't understand the situation. What relationship do you have with the owner of that voice? Issei. In short, the owner of that voice is evil. Ganyu. I understand, then that voice has to do with this strange domain, and we must stop that person. Issei. Yes, that's why we must destroy the source, and it's not a person, I would honestly say it would be a ghost. Ganyu. I don't think so, even the worst spirits don't have such a level of evil energy, it's inconceivable that such a being exists. Issei. Yes. I agree, but sometimes there is someone of pure evil. At that moment a light appeared in front and blinded them both, they immediately changed areas and to the surprise of both. The area was something only Issei had seen. Ganyu. What is this? I've never seen a construction like this. Issei. This is. The large city full of buildings is seen by his eyes, this area was of the earth. Ganyu. I'm very worried about this place. Issei. Me too. I guess I should expect something like that, considering I'm in a domain created by a fragment of Rainer. At that moment while Issei was deep in thought, dark figures appeared and began to move aimlessly. Voices could be heard coming from them that varied. I have to go to work. Damn this life, I don't want to go to school. Because he likes her and not me, that boy is an asshole. I'm tired because I have to kill myself for a family that doesn't appreciate what I do. Damn bitch taking my money again. This whole world is bucking garbage, it should go to hell. All my effort went to shit, I gave everything for a company and they kicked me out of work as if nothing happened, we are just slaves to them. This is not fair. There are only injustices. Ganyu. What are they talking about? What do you think it is? Issei. I don't know, clearly this is a representation of the earth and the human world, as this relates to the multiverse it is normal for the Rainer fragment to manifest this type of things, she must have seen or gone to more than one planet Earth, I can't let Ganyu have information of this type, it would be best to deny that I know anything about this place. Ganyu. What do we do now? Issei. Let's watch from a safe distance. Ganyu. Okay. Issei. Let's go this way, let's see if we can climb to the top. Ganyu. Okay. Ganyu turned around to see those dark figures, however they only kept blurring out words that she couldn't understand, so she continued forward, even though she had a bad feeling. Issei. Let's hope that as we advance there are no problems. But as they ascended to a building, the dark figures began to slowly change, and the gaze of one of them turned towards Issei and Ganyu. Light. Turn off light. There should only be darkness. Ganyu. He. Issei. Is something wrong? Ganyu. One of them looks at us. At that moment, from a certain height and without reaching the top yet, Issei could see the dark figure looking at them. Immediately all the figures looked at them and one of them smiled, showing a horrible face. Issei. I think this is very bad. Chapter 32. Danger. At that moment Ganyu and Issei were running up the stairs of the building. Issei. Ganyu, I haven't fully recovered yet, can you do something to keep those things from coming closer? Ganyu. I can use my cryo-elemental energy to stop them from getting closer, but we would also be caught. Issei. Right now what we need is time to think better, so getting trapped doesn't matter. The macabre dark figures were approaching quickly, they looked at the two in a very aggressive way, to the point that their humanoid form was fading, and they were turning into horrible creatures. Issei. Do it quickly. Ganyu. Understood. But in that instant before the dark figures touched the building, Ganyu used his power to create an ice barrier, which began to cover and freeze the entire outside of the building up to the tip. On the other hand, Issei grabbed Ganyu and entered the building, before everything outside froze. Issei. Ganyu's capabilities as a cryo user are far above a normal user, it must be because she is half Adeptus, the Adeptus as Lumen told me are certainly powerful, that guy Xiao was able to give off a strong murderous aura, the first time I saw him in my fight against Oshul, I must not underestimate these beings, even hybrids like Ganyu. Ganyu. Good thing you acted fast, Issei. Issei. I'm sorry for the abrupt way of entering Ganyu, but there was no time to open a door, so going through a window seemed like the best option. Ganyu. Don't worry, I understand. Bleeding. Issei. You're bleeding. Ganyu. I just cut my hand a little. Issei. Anyway, let me look for something. After saying those words, Issei quickly went to look for something inside the building. Surprisingly, he found alcohol and bandages. This domain recreated everything perfectly, it was so natural that it disturbed him even more. Issei. Don't move, it will burn, takes her hand from her. Anu. Blushing too. Issei. I told you it will burn, it will pass quickly. Anu. Thanks Issei. Issei. It's nothing, looks out the window, the ice protects us very well, for now there are no movements. Anu. How much time do you think we have? Issei. It's hard to know, the ice that covers the outside is very solid and I don't think it will melt naturally soon. There is also the problem that we don't know the abilities of those things, nor their capabilities, so we don't know how long this ice will be able to hold them back from entering. Anu. I've never seen monsters like that before. Issei. Well, there are two of us, these monsters are not from Tavid. Anu. What should we do now? Issei. In this kind of scenario, I can only think about recovering first. Anu. By the way, why were you hurt in the first place? Issei. For fighting with the person you previously pointed your arrow at. Anu. Tartaglia. Issei. Yes, I faced one of the 11, but he must be worse than me. Anu. At least it's a relief that he's okay. Issei. You care so much about someone like me, you don't even know me. Anu. I have to do it, after all you are one of Liu's beneficiaries and a beneficiary of mine. Issei. You say that so lightly and you only met me when I saved your life in the Jade Chamber. Well, I saved the lives of everyone present at that time. Anu. You saved Liu, you saved my life too, and the lives of my friends, I couldn't be more grateful. Maybe you don't know it, but since your disappearance Miss Ningguang has dedicated part of her time to look for you to thank you, not only her, but also the adepts who were there that day, that includes Xiao and my partner Ketching. Issei. Is it so important to thank me? Anu. Yes, we feel uncomfortable because of the debt we owe you, maybe you don't want to draw attention to yourself, but we could arrange a private meeting. Issei. I'm sorry Ganyu, but it's hard for me to trust others. Anu. Please understand. Issei. Hey. Anu. I know that trusting a person is difficult, but you have to try. Issei. Sighs, when we get out of this domain I'll think about it. Anu. I really appreciate it. Issei. Well, I think we should rest. Anu. Rest where? Issei. I can't tell Ganyu about the objects found in this place, so I'll have to be careful. Apparently this strange area has small rooms with beds, we can rest there. Anu. But how will we know if something happens outside? Issei. I have good hearing, don't worry, if something happens I'll let you know. Anu. Okay. Calmly, both would go to different rooms, however Issei's plan was not to rest, but to get Ganyu away from him. Issei. Looks at the compass, can you hear me? Andrew. I can hear everything as long as you carry that compass with you. Issei. I think I'm getting closer to Rainer's fragment. Andrew. I realize that. Issei. Can you give me information about what those dark figures are? Andres. Of course, since those things are not part of this world. Issei. I could tell that by seeing them. Andres. First of all, do you know how Rainer was resurrected, or rather born? Issei. Yes. Andres. But what was the medium? Issei. Medium. Andrew. The death gem ended up in Pandora's box, within the evils of the world. Those evils of the world entered a version of you from another universe, but the means of your resurrection was a curse. Issei. A curse. Andrew. That curse was left on you by her before she died. Curses are non-physical things, just like feelings, laws, emotions, blessings, etc. Issei. But the laws have physical bodies given by you. Andrew. Yes. Issei. So Rainer is equal to the laws. Andrew. No, of course not, it is a curse after all, curses are not things necessary for the functioning of the universe. Issei. Just tell me, what is Rainer? Andres. Rainer is just a curse left by the original, she always was, she was never the original Rainer. Issei. What? Andres. When the death gem entered that Issei, the resurrection began, although it is better to call it birth. The gem used Rainer's curse as a means to revive her, and being in the mind of that Issei, thanks to his memories he was able to trace, put or recreate Rainer's way of being, giving her in a certain way a new life or way of living, not even she noticed the difference. Issei. But that wouldn't be it. Andres. A clone. If that's what it is, it's just a clone. Issei. This doesn't make sense. Andres. Do you think so? Originally the death gem can bring the dead back to life, I created it with that power, however the power was so strong that it could bring back to life or give life to something that is not even dead, something non-physical. Issei. So all this time the Rainer who threatened the multiverse was. Andres. Yes, it was just a clone, a curse brought to life by the death gem. She believed it was the real one, but it's logical if you think about it. Something revived by a curse is nothing more than a copy. Issei. And the real Rainer? Andres? Well, the same thing happened to her as to Rainer in your universe. She is still dead. Ria's killed her, destroyed her soul and body. Honestly, without something like a body or soul, you can't bring the original being from that universe back to life, so all this time this Rainer was a copy. Issei. Hey, all this time they were facing a curse. Andres. Yes, and although it was only a Rainer created by that curse, it caused problems at multiversal levels. Issei. That's it, so what are those things outside? Andres. Shouldn't it be obvious already? They are curses. Issei. What? Andrew. I told you that this domain was created by a fragment of Rainer's body and soul. If Rainer's body and soul were the basis of this was a curse, it is obvious to see that the domain is reflecting that. Issei. But curses, is something like that possible? Andres. It is here at least. You didn't hear their voices. Issei. Your voices. At that moment the voices were heard outside loudly. Damn. Family of crap. I should quit this bucking job. Why he chose her I don't understand. Andres. They are full-blown curses. They curse the world and all the beings in it, a pure manifestation of malice and envy. Obviously they are manifesting physically, but not as Rainer. They are imperfect beings that do not have a solid foundation or a well-designed body. Issei. And what do you want? Andrew. What every curse wants is to harm. Issei. That helps me know what to attack first and keep attacking without hesitation. Andres. Anyway, be careful with curses of this style, they are very aggressive, especially because they hate light. Issei. Something tells me you don't speak literally. Andres. No, I don't. To be more specific, they hate any being that represents light and love, any being with goodness in their heart. Issei. That explains why they are coming for us. Andres. I recommend you get out of here and keep moving towards the center. They will not be able to follow you in the next area, and when you have the Rainer fragment, they will disappear forever. Issei. I understand. Andrew. One more thing. Issei. Yes. Andres. When you find the fragment of Rainer, do not touch it with your hands, or you could be contaminated by its evil energy. Issei. Okay. The conversation between the two would quickly end. Issei had the information he wanted, so while he thought of a way to escape, he proposed to continue resting, recovering his energy from him. Meanwhile in Ganyu's room, she was sleeping peacefully. And outside the dark figures began to gather, while the voices grew louder. Light. Must be turned off. The light must die. Not light. We hate the light. With intensity the voices screamed louder and louder as they joined together creating a monstrous being. Curse. Destroy the light. This being that was a fusion of curses or dark figures, forcefully launched an attack, slowly breaking the ice wall created by Ganyu. The rumble was so loud that it woke up Ganyu and alerted Issei. Ganyu? Issei, what is that? Issei. A huge problem. They both quickly looked at the monstrous being. Ganyu? But what is that thing? Issei. I would say a monster formed by those dark figures. Ganyu? We must go. Issei. Let's go up to the roof. Ganyu? How? Issei. Crossing it. Issei quickly hit the wall above to advance directly towards the ceiling, breaking even the ice. Ganyu? What should we do now? Issei. Looks at the compass. We must leave this part of the domain and continue moving forward. Ganyu? Does the compass tell you something? Issei. Nothing positive. He says that upstairs. Ganyu? Up. Issei. This compass isn't normal, so it's not wrong. Ganyu? If that's true, how will we get up there? After his words from him, the monstrous being, the cursed leader of all the dark figures, dug his hands into the frozen walls of the building and began to advance. Issei. What am I doing? Xiao. This way I can repay my gratitude for the Jade Chamber. At that moment the anemo energy surrounds Issei and Ganyu, lifting them into the sky. A figure descended and stood in front of the curse. Issei. Xiao. Ganyu. It must have come from above. Xiao. I'll take care of this, you guys go. Ganyu. But. Issei. Ganyu, if what Lumen told me about Xiao is true, he will get out of here alive, we have to trust him. Issei's gaze was serious and determined. Ganyu understood his words when he saw him. Ganyu. Okay. After saying that, as they touched the top of the sky they went to another area of the domain, advancing further towards the center, and leaving Xiao only with the dark figures and the great monstrous being. Xiao. I don't know what they are, but I will kill them before they hurt innocent people. Ice and Ganyu. Those who had crossed with Xiao's help to another part of the domain, looked at the place where they were. Ganyu. This is. Issei. A forest. Well, at least we are better than before. In the darkness bright eyes watched them. Chapter 33. Darkness. In the forest lay Issei and Ganyu, resting peacefully under the canopy of a tree. Issei. Looking at the compass at the moment there is no fixed point to advance, the internal movement of the domain is faster, in a way that is good, it means that we are getting closer to the center, which also means that very soon this whole nightmare will end. Ganyu. That's a relief. Issei. You should be happy, soon you will be able to return to Liu and see your friends. Ganyu. I wouldn't say completely happy, but yes, it's very nice. Issei. What do you mean? Ganyu. It's complicated, I don't know if you understand, but in Liu I feel much more alone than you think, in a place where being surrounded by humans makes me feel like I don't belong to that world, it's wrong to feel that way. Issei. No, in fact it's normal for you to do that. Ganyu. Issei. I know what it feels like to be in an environment where most people are different from you, in fact since I've been in David I've felt that way, I always wonder how I ended up in these situations. Ganyu. And how do you avoid feeling alone? Issei. Well, I have my friends. Since I arrived, I have opened up to certain people, Lumen among them. Friends help you cope better with loneliness, to the point that you don't feel outside of this world, on the contrary, you feel part of this world. I'm sure there are people who care about you. Those people will surely make sure you never feel alone wherever you go. Issei's words opened Ganyu's eyes, and at that moment a butterfly landed on his finger. Ganyu. Do I really fit into this world? Issei. You must fit in, at least better than me if. Ganyu. Your words are very comforting, thank you Issei. Issei. It's nothing. Ganyu. By the way. Ganyu's words would be interrupted because at that moment a shot is launched towards the two of them, causing a huge explosion. Shock. Burst. Shock. Burst. The trail of fire was all that could be seen. It seems that they were successfully eliminated. Issei. Who was eliminated? Shock. Issei pulled out his sword, but the figure that was present in front of him had stopped his sword with the tips of his fingers. How long has it been since I saw that face? Issei. Same here, Rainer. Rainer. You must be the Issei of this universe. Ganyu. Leave Issei in peace. At that moment, a super concentrated cryo-energy arrow would be launched at Rainer's head, however she deflected it with her hands. Rainer. How weak. Ganyu. That's it. Rainer. Let's talk in private. After moving her fingers she created a soundless bubble, trapping Issei with it. Issei. This is bad, I'm stuck with her, and I have no knowledge of her current abilities, how is it possible that you are alive, you should just be a fragment. Rainer. And I am, but my fragment created this domain, that's what they call it in this world, right? Issei. I suppose you are well informed. Rainer. This domain connects with the Li lines, they pass me detailed information about the world, within this domain I can manifest myself physically, it is a personal protection measure to prevent them from getting too close to the center, to my fragment. Issei. That explains a lot. Rainer. I've never seen you before, I remember your other versions of the multiverse but not you, however the fact that you show that you have knowledge about tells me that you have information about the multiverse. Issei. You should have stayed dead. Rainer. I lost everything in that war against your other versions, and I plan to get it all back. Issei. Not if I stop you. Issei struggled, he tried to move her sword, but he simply couldn't move it, Rainer's fingers easily stopped it, it was N''T even shown that she was using her strength. Rainer. Haha. With this level you think you can stop me, you want to know something, in that war with your other versions, I realized when I saw you that they are thousands of times stronger than you. Issei. What do you say? Rainer. You are very weak. Issei. I must give it my all and. But before he could even make another move, with her other hand, Ella Rainer grabbed him by the neck of Ella. Ganyu. Issei, what is that woman planning? Ganyu could only watch, as he couldn't hear anything they were talking about inside that bubble. Issei. Og help me. Rainer. You know that when I was revived I had a desire for love for you, a self-imposed love as a consequence or rather side effect, I wanted to make all of you Hyodo Issei, mine and only mine, but after those events that degraded me to be a fragment of my former and powerful self, however I freed myself from that side effect, you know what that means. Issei. Shit. Rainer. I don't care about them at all anymore, and I can destroy everything without having to think about it so many times. Rainer would squeeze Issei's neck of her tightly. Issei. Ah Buck, you were a bitch, and you will continue to be a bitch. Rainer. I won't kill you yet, I want information first. Issei. I won't tell you anything. Rainer. Sure. Because I don't know if you know, but the monsters in this domain of mine can leave the domain if I want and destroy that city called Liu. Issei. How much energy would you spend on that action, being a fragment, wouldn't it be a risky decision? Rainer. Well, that doesn't matter to me, after all, I don't carry a heavy conscience like you do by letting innocent people die. Issei. Do you really think I'll let you? Rainer. You can't even move. Issei. I must think fast. At that moment the entire domain began to tremble and Rainer's voice could be heard throughout the domain. Rainer. Listen to me, everyone in this domain, the 7 who entered. And you? What is this? Rainer. I want you to know that I will release all the monsters within this domain to the outside and they will destroy your precious city called Liu. And you? Shocked, what did he say? At that moment the tremor of the domain became stronger, a sign of the release of the monsters. Rainer. Now you want to talk. Issei. You underestimate us too much, in this domain there is more than one person to prevent the exit of these monsters. In another area within the domain. The monsters inside the domain would begin to move to leave, some of them were creatures of Tavit with Rainer's energy that gave them more power, but a man stood in front of these monsters. Zhongli. I gave up command as Rex Lapis long ago, but I can't stand to see the common people suffer. If these monsters attack Liu, then I won't sit still. I will liberate our land and defend the safety of our port. That was Liu's first contract and now the last contract is set in stone. But Xiao. Protecting Liu is my duty, don't even dream that you will be able to advance. Curse. I'll turn off your light. Xiao. Try it. Ice and Ganyu. Issei. Don't even think that you will succeed, we will defeat all those monsters. Rainer. Then I just have to go personally and kill you 7 one by one. Issei. I don't think so, you'll be finished right here. Rainer. Big words for a guy who can't even break free from my grasp. Issei. Haha. I didn't want to use my dragonification in front of Ganyu, but I guess I'll have to trust that he won't say anything. Rainer. Huh. Issei. Claw of Dragon. Shock. Burst. Shock. At that moment the bubble created by Rainer would be destroyed, since Issei's attack that was going directly towards it would be easily dodged. Rainer. Interesting, but breaking my bubble was your last action, your attack on my failure, now nothing stops me from strangling you to death. Ganyu? What is that? On the other hand, Ganyu was shocked to see Issei's dragonified arms. Rainer. You're finished, Hyodo Issei. Issei. No, you're finished now, Lumen. Lumen. We have to end this. Low. Cut. Rainer. Hey. Rainer's eyes opened wide, seeing that her arm, which Issei was holding, had been cut off by Lumen. Issei. Since your appearance I realized that Lumen had entered this area, but surely you did not notice it because you were focused on me, I broke the bubble so that she could attack without any kind of problem. Rainer. Aya. Issei. Well, it seems like you feel pain. And you? Issei, are you okay? Lumen. Gosh, how do you always find yourself in these kinds of situations? Issei. What can I say? I attract crazy girls. And you? Issei, your arms. Issei. Ganyu would explain it to you, but these moments are not the best, I can only say keep the secret. And you? Okay. Lumen. Do you trust my friends more now? Issei. It's not like I have any other choice right now. Lumen. True. Issei. Get ready, here you come. At that moment a strong murderous aura is released towards the 3 of them. Rainer. I'm going to kill them. Issei. It won't be without a fight, you damn bitch. Rainer. Die. She quickly advanced towards Issei to attack him, and he stopped her blows to Ella with his Ella arms. In turn Lumen went to cut her, but Rainer kicked her that sent her very far, going through 3 trees with her body to Ella. Lumen. Spits blood, it's very strong. And you? Crystal arrow. At that moment an arrow was directed towards Rainer, which he blocked with his hand, however it began to be frozen. Rainer. What? And you? I was very cautious this time, even if you could stop the arrow you couldn't stop the advance of my cryo energy. Rainer. Do you seriously think that a mean ice can stop me? Issei. Don't be careless. Immediately Issei changed her stance from defense to attack, while Rainer used her feet to block her attack. Rainer. Even without an arm you are no match for me. Issei. You think so, fire breath. Issei quickly used dragonification externally and internally in his mouth to throw fire. Rainer. Aya. Rainer would be surrounded by fire in such a way that her body was on fire. And you? Issei, you defeated her. Issei. Not yet. And you? He. At that moment, Rainer extinguished the fire that surrounded her with her energy and appeared in front of Ganyu, giving him a blow to her stomach. And you? Spit saliva. Rainer. The archer is very annoying, I should have gotten rid of you first. Issei. Ganyu, careful Rainer, you are a bitch. Issei lunged with all his strength to hit her. Rainer. Nice try. But Rainer caught his blow with her hand and broke Issei's arm. Issei. Aya. Rainer. From the beginning you had no chance. Rainer put Issei on the ground and with her foot Della on his chest, Della prevented him from getting up while applying pressure to him, hurting him. Issei spits blood. He's too strong. If Lumen hadn't cut off his arm it would be even harder to hit him. With that monster strength and speed, it's actually a relief that he doesn't have regenerative abilities. Rainer. If it was the old me that almost destroyed the multiverse you would already be dead. Now I'm going to kill each and every one of you 7. Issei. Hey. Wait, she said 7. But if those of us who entered the domain were 6. Wait a minute, she said 7 this whole time. I thought it was a mistake the first time, but the second and now third time it can't be a coincidence. But who is the 7th one who entered? Rainer. Now to avoid making mistakes, I will pierce your heart and cut off your head without mistakes. Issei. Ha. Shit, there's no point in thinking about that, considering that I'm going to die in this situation. Rainer. Goodbye Hyodo Issei. Issei. Spits blood. This is how I'm going to die. Shock. Who? At that moment a blow was given to Rainer, moving her away from Issei. A figure stood in front of him. Ollie. As if I were going to leave you. Issei. That voice. Issei's body trembled and he quickly stood up to see the person in front of him. Ollie. Hey Issei, I'm joining the fun. Issei. It can't be valid, but how? Issei's eyes widened, he couldn't believe who he was seeing, and on the other hand, Rainer stood up confused. Rainer. Another nuisance. Who the hell is interfering now? Ollie. Well Volley Lucifer, that's not obvious. Chapter 34. Friend. Seeing Volley's sudden appearance, Issei still couldn't believe it. Until now he thought that he was the only survivor of his world, but apparently he was wrong. Rainer. Volley. Ha. True, before my resurrection and Issei and a Volley faced each other. Apparently that Volley wanted to stop my resurrection. He was strong, but compared to that Volley you are trash. You will still attack, I know, but anyway, the result will not change. Ollie. Geo pillars. After his words the pillars advanced towards Rainer aggressively. Rainer. Your attacks are as weak as Issei's. She would wave her hand and destroy the pillars with total ease. Ollie. It was blocking your vision. Volley appeared behind her with a light sword to stab her, however Rainer used her hands and easily stopped her. Rainer. Don't you know the difference between our powers? Ollie. Buck that, I'm going to finish you. Shock. Shock. Blow. Shock. Volley's sword tried to cut Rainer, but he simply couldn't. She was too strong. Issei watched from far the battle that was taking place. Issei. Volley has acquired the ability to use the elements just like me, but I don't understand why he isn't using his balance breaker. Clearly Albion should be able to help him better handle combat, along with the power of the elements. Ollie. Hey Aya. Rainer. Nice try. Blow. Shock. Blow. Issei. Shocked unless he can't use Albion. Rainer. Useless, grabs her head and drags it along the ground. Ollie. Sorry. At that moment Volley's hands and arms became dragon-like. Issei. That's dragonification, but Volley is a half-blood demon. He is the lineage of the Demon King. How could he use dragonification? Ollie. Hits her in the face. Rainer. Ah, damn it. Issei. This doesn't make sense. What the hell happened to Volley? Ollie. Throws his sword at him. Rainer. Stops her. Throwing your weapon in combat is not a good idea. Ollie. You think so? Volley appeared in front of her to punch her in the stomach, but Rainer used her foot to stop the blow. Issei. Impacted that sword. Issei's eyes widened as he saw the sword, as it was the same as his own. Rainer. Don't think you can handle me easily. Issei. Now everything makes sense. It's like RDU said before. Flashback. RDU. I don't know, but you have a seal that, according to my analysis, blocks your so-called sacred gear. In addition to that, seal was made specifically to weaken the demon and dragon races, having as a side effect the degradation of all your powers, but definitely Rizavam knew about it. That's why you have that sword. Issei. Takes out his sword from him. What is this sword? RDU. It has an energy inside that seems to counteract that of the seal. I don't know where it comes from, but it is definitely useful. Having it in your possession slowly weakens the seal. End of flashback. Issei. That's probably it. The same thing happened to him as to me. Just before the events of Rizavam, Volley was also given a signal. Shock. Blow. Shock. Shock. Rainer. Know your place. Cursed lightning. Ollie. Dodges. Issei. As for his dragonification of him, it's simple. There's only one way Volley could have turned into a humanoid dragon. Rainer. Gotcha. Ollie. You think so? At that moment Volley's mouth, lungs and throat dragonified to release acid. Rainer. Aya. Issei. Volley should have given his body to Albion, just like I gave my arm to Drake in the past. Blow. 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 Volley took advantage of Rainer's state of confusion caused by the pain of the acid to hit her non-stop. Rainer. Maldives. Issei. Now the only question I have left is. Volley would take his sword from her and direct it towards his neck. Shock. Rainer. Don't even think you can cut me. Issei. Where could Volley get that sword? Volley. I still can't lower its defense enough to cut it, which is a problem. Rainer. Hits his stomach. Volley. Spits saliva. Issei. Shit, what am I doing? Questions for later. I'll ask Volley for answers later, now I have to help him. Dragon eyes. Rainer. Grabs him by the neck. Issei's eyes became those of a dragon, allowing him to see from afar. He saw the place where Lumen was. She was lying on the ground unconscious. She turned around to see Ganyu, who was also unconscious from the previous blow treated by Rainer. Issei. I guess this is between me and Volley. At that moment Issei would make a subtle sign to Volley without Rainer noticing. Volley. He. Ha. About time you joined Hyodo. Rainer. You have some last words. Volley. Yes, powder. At that moment he pointed his sword at his eye. Rainer released him and stopped the sword with her hand. Rainer. Don't you know the term useless attack? Volley. I know him perfectly, but you know the term distraction. Rainer. Hey. Quickly Issei had launched himself against her. In turn Rainer tried to move to dodge the blow, but it was useless. Issei would arrive first from her, managing to stab her in the belly. Issei. I aim for the heart, but this girl reacts quickly. Rainer. I damn them both. Volley. You were careless. Rainer. This isn't going to end that easily. Issei. It's over, Rainer. Issei prepared to deliver the final blow, but at that moment a few words were spoken from Rainer's mouth. Rainer. Forbidden spell dark blood. As she said those words, a wave of magical energy sent the two flying several meters away from her. They both quickly recompassed themselves and took a battle stance. Volley. Issei. Shocked. At that moment, black blood would come out of Rainer's mouth, nose and ears, beginning to cover her entire body in a very strange way. Volley. What the hell is that? Is it blood? Issei. Maybe it's a physical manifestation of his fragment, but the blood should be red, like when Lumen cut off his arm, but this blood is black. Rainer. You're all going to die. At that moment the black blood would surround her entire body. Issei and Volley admired such a scene in surprise. At the same time, the compass that Issei had began to vibrate. Issei. This is it. Grabs the compass. Andres. I see you're seeing something horrible. Issei. What the hell is that? Why is that strange black blood surrounding his body? Andres. He plans to use his blood as a base for a forbidden spell, that's why it is turned that color. If he carries it out, it will consume everything within the domain. Issei. What? Andres. They must kill her before it happens, otherwise everyone could die. Issei. How? Andres. Cut off his head and pierce his heart. It's the only way to destroy that manifestation once and for all. They have to hurry. But those words, her voice stopped and Issei quickly ran to cut off Rainer's head. Issei. Hi. However, her attack was insufficient. Rainer. Smiles. Nice try, but right now, as the blood surrounds my entire skin, it's harder than any metal. Your swords will never be able to cut me. Issei would see how his sword would be caught by Rainer's black blood, so he quickly withdrew it and walked away, standing next to Volley. Volley. I definitely never got bored with you as a rival. Issei. Haha, thanks for the compliment, but if we do N''T kill that damn thing, we'll all be dead, but cutting off her head seems impossible, and we still need to pierce her heart. Volley. How did it feel to cut? Issei. As if my sword collided with a steel wall, plus it was stuck in glue. Volley. We'll need to charge with all our strength. If we imbue our hands with elemental energy, along with dragonification, and extend the energy towards our swords, maybe we could penetrate their defense. Issei. There's no other way, I hope it works. They quickly concentrated all their power and extended it to their swords. Issei went straight to cut off the head and Volley to stab the heart. At the moment of the collision, a huge collision of energy arose. Volley. Issei. Hey. Rainer. It's useless, you're going to die. There's no way that with the energy you have left, you can penetrate this defense. Issei. Shit, let's go. Volley. Buck go. Issei's sword and Volley's sword were clashing with Rainer's body of her, but they could N''T penetrate her defense. Sparks were flying from the contact of their swords with Rainer's skin of her. Rainer. It's over. The whole atmosphere turned dark in the domain. The spell was about to be cast. Issei and Volley pressed, but still they didn't achieve anything. They were still at a stalemate. It was then that Issei began to speak. Issei. Volley. I'm sorry. Volley. Hey. What are you talking about? Issei. I failed you. I failed everyone that time, and now I fail again. Volley. Why are you apologizing? Issei. What? Ollie. Dying fighting alongside my rival, giving it my all. What better death could I ask for? After her words, Issei opened his eyes wide and could see a big smile. Issei. Why are you telling me that now? You should hold a grudge against me. Ollie. Well, I don't do it. In fact, I thought you did it because I couldn't protect your friends, nor mine. Issei. It wasn't your responsibility, Vali. Vali. Yes, I was, because when you are not there I must be the one to protect them. That is a responsibility that I had. Issei. Ha. We both thought those things for a long time. Vali. Yes, look at us. Issei. You lost many that you loved. Vali. And you lost more than me. Issei. Ha. However. I'm sure of one thing, valid. They didn't die blaming you. Vali. It's funny, I think the same about you too. Issei. Even if we lose. I want to give it my all until the end. Vali. Me too. Issei. It was a great pleasure to fight alongside you, my friend. Vali. The pleasure was mine, friend. Issei. Vali. Hey Aya. They both squeezed out every last drop and kept moving forward. Rainer. You don't understand, it's useless, it's over, game over for you too. Vali. Even if we lose we will give it our all. Issei. It doesn't matter if our blood vaporizes. At that moment their swords clanged together and a voice was heard. Protocol 115 activated. Starting power injection. Issei. But what Aya? Vali. What is this Aya? It was like if their hearts were being stabbed 1,000 times, a strange energy was introduced into their hearts, starting to make them beat much harder and faster. Rainer. Shocked, this can't be possible. Rainer couldn't believe what she was seeing. The White Emperor Dragon armor and the Red Emperor Dragon armor had manifested. Issei. Now I'm finally back. Vali. I say the same. Boost 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 booster. Divide 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 dividing. Rainer. This can't be possible. Issei. Vali. Hi. At that moment Issei cut off Rainer's head and Vali managed to stab his heart. Immediately the environment returned to normal. Rainer. How? Did they do it? Rainer's severed head of Ella said this before her body and head of Ella evaporated without a trace. Issei and Vali had detransformed. The battle was over. Vali. It's over. Issei. No, just one more step. Looks at the compass. Vali. What's missing? Issei. Destroy this domain. Issei could barely walk, the same went for Vali, still he walked forward and Vali followed him. As Issei walked he tore some of his clothes, wrapping them in his hands. By the time he crossed, he could see the fragment of Rainer floating into dark space. Vali. That's it. Issei. Yes. The source of all this damn domain. Immediately Issei extended his hands wrapped in pieces of cloth and grabbed the fragment. After that action the domain began to crack, all the monsters began to disintegrate and the bodies of the 7 people who entered the domain lit up. Vali. I'll see you outside. You have a lot to tell me. Issei. Same here. Chapter 35. Secrets revealed. Outside the domain almost everyone was lying there, some were just getting up. Anyu. What happened? Lumen. I feel like I broke 2 ribs. Anyu. Lumen, are you okay? Lumen. Yes, thanks for asking. Anyu would help her up. Anyu. Wait, where is Issei? Lumen. I wasn't with you. Anyu. No, when that girl hit you and sent you flying, she gave me a strong blow to the stomach that left me paralyzed. I fell unconscious after that. Xiao. I see you're fine. At that moment Xiao approached. Anyu. Xiao, are you okay? Xiao. Yeah, those monsters weren't a problem for me. Tartaglia. We were lucky to escape unscathed. I thank Zhongli for taking care of me. Zhongli. I see that we all already left that place. Anyu. Lumen. What? Anyu and Lumen were just realizing that they were no longer within the domain. Zhongli. The sinister energy that inhabited that place has already dispersed. As proof of this you can see that we are standing on the ground that previously broke and took us to that strange domain. Lumen. So everything is okay? Zhongli. That's right. Anyu. Wait, then where is Issei? Xiao. I didn't see him leave either. Zhongli. It is certainly strange. Lumen. Now that I think about it, if the energy has dispersed then it means someone has arrived at the center of the domain and taken care of the problem. Tartaglia. It's like Lumen says, you don't have to be an expert to know who it was. Anyu. Then where is it? Tartaglia. Who knows, he must have left first and left before we showed up. Lumen. Yes, I know, Issei, we will see him soon, don't worry about the Ganyu, wait, and that flower on your head. Ganyu? He. Lumen. Smiles must have been the. Ganyu? Issei blushes he. Wait, there's a flower in yours too. Lumen. Blushes Issei. Baka. At that moment, everyone went their own way, and the question of where Issei had gone remained. But this one was actually in the distance, watching everything from a mountain with his dragon eyes. Issei. It looks like everything is fine. Vali. That's good. Issei. Then Vali, I have already told you everything that happened since I came to this world, now it is your turn, you can tell me how you came to this world. Vali. Honestly speaking, I have no idea, in the final battle we fought we were fighting against the replicas of the Red Emperor's armor, it was then that we noticed that something strange was happening inside where you were fighting. Issei. What happened next? Vali. The entire sky of the underworld would turn white and we were caught in an explosion, even with my armor I received considerable damage, added to the fatigue we had, we could not continue, the good point was. Issei. Was it? Vali. The previous explosion wiped out the replicas of the Red Emperor's armor, then something happened, a second explosion. Issei. Second explosion. Vali. It was so great that my eyes will not be able to forget it, hell, heaven and earth were swallowed, but just at that moment Office appeared, even she seemed scared, there was no time to ask her talk, just act, she transported us to the dimensional gap to all that she could, however there was a mishap. Issei. Which one? Vali. Only half of my right side was transported. Issei. Shocked. Vali. Albion acted quickly as he could, and in the end my body became that of a humanoid dragon like you, but if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that I wasn't the only one to whom that happened. Issei. It can't be. Vali. Then I lost consciousness, I don't know what happened to the others in the dimensional gap. Issei. So you actually don't know how you got here? Vali. That's right, I woke up in Dragon's Thorn in some kind of laboratory. Issei. Laboratory. Vali. Deep in Dragon's Thorn in an underground cavern, it was then that I met the Tartaglia boy and we fought, of course I won, then I realized that I could use the power of the elements. Issei. I see, and the sword. Vali. That was the strangest thing, one day he appeared out of nowhere in front of me, just one day before leaving Dragon's Thorn, with a letter that told me all the information about my body, the seal and his final words in the letter, it said that the sword would be useful for the future. Issei. One last question, how did you reach mastery? Vali. I was trapped there for 2 days. Issei. What? Vali. Yes, I accidentally walked through the place where you were and got sucked into the domain, I'm sorry I didn't give you the answers you wanted. Issei. No, it's the opposite. I have all the information I need to solve one of the greatest mysteries. Vali. What? Issei. But first Vali looks at the fragment next to him, we are going to go with the one I told you about earlier. 2 hours later. Issei was at the location where he had met Andres earlier. Vali. What happens now? Issei. It's here. Vali. Hey. Vali could notice how that presence appeared out of nowhere, but he was not alone, next to it there was another presence. Vali and Issei were sweating at the other's presence, they knew it wasn't someone ordinary. Issei. The is. Andres. Well, this deal also concerns you. Issei. Deal. Andres. You forgot, you asked me to tell him in time that he will leave Lumen alone. Issei. This is it. Andres. That's right, it's time. Time. Hello Hyodo Issei and Vali Lucifer. His presence was heavenly, Issei and Vali had the same thought, he was not someone they could beat in his current state, not even in his previous state of him, they would have to be abysmally strong to face him. It was as if omnipotence and omnipresence were before them. Andres. Come on, Time, don't intimidate them. Time. Don't blame me, I'm already very upset with Universe 2's Issei for returning to the past without thinking twice about the consequences. Andres. I know, but could you do me a favor and leave Lumen alone, you know I need to give the boy something in return for the fragment. Time. The law of balance demands a true, equivalent exchange. Andres. You understand quickly. Time. Okay, Issei right. Issei. Yes. Time. Lumen will be forgiven for that transgression, so I'll leave her alone, but you can't expect everything to be exactly the same as before, these are the things that happen when you travel in time. Issei. Understood. Andres. Thanks for the time. Time. Don't thank me, Issei from Universe 2 Issei the return of the hero of the factions, still has my challenges and tests for traveling in time without permission. Issei. Although I don't understand how Lumen could travel in time or go back in time in this world when the fusion of dimensions occurred. Time. There are objects that allow time travel. Said objects are created and have my permission to be used and travel through time. In doing so there is no problem with that, because I gave them my permission to do so. However, sometimes, very but very rarely, there are objects that obtain such power on their own, however. Andres. They do not have the permission of time. Those objects that obtain the ability to use the power of a law such as time are something forbidden. The girl came into contact with one of those objects in her future and traveled back to the past without wanting to, the question of which object it was is a complete mystery. Issei. And what about the object? Andrew. Naturally he goes back to where the girl found him in the first place, but since she doesn't remember he remains hidden. Time. Issei, if you come across that object in the future, destroy it. It would be disastrous if it fell into the wrong hands. Issei. I understand. Andres. Okay, Issei, can you give me the Rainer fragment? Issei. Yes, gives him the fragment. Andres. Well, when I get out of here I will destroy it, then only one would be missing. Time. Then I think we can go now. Andrew. Okay. Issei. There is still one thing missing. After his words Time and Andres would stop. Andres. What do you mean? Issei. To the answers. Andres. I already told you that I can't tell you much about. But his words were interrupted by Issei. Issei. The seal and the swords were you, right? Time. Looks askance at Andres. Andres. What is your basis for that question? Issei. When I used the swords, I could feel an energy entering my heart. That energy gave me the same feeling as when I met you. Andres. Just for a feeling. Issei. Not only that, I verified it by thinking a lot and remembering the conversations I had with Rizavam and RDU. Andres. I'm listening to you, Hyodo Issei. Issei. The words that Rizavam covertly told me while talking to me stayed in my mind when I spoke to RDU, as if those covert words wanted to tell me about something and someone. You will hear what I have to say. After getting those objects I acquired all the knowledge inside and outside this world, past, present and future. It melted my head, but I hardened it, my body did. And when I knew it all, I admired it as if I had won. But I discovered that I lost. I knew everything, damn everything, so there was nothing in this world or outside of this one. To discover my curiosity was my downfall. I knew everything. It turns out that knowledge soon became more knowledge. I saw what was going to happen. I looked into the future, my defeat and your victory. Having a limit, isn't it like that? Yes. I reached my limit. When I saw the multiverse I knew everything. It always happens the same. I lose, you win, or I don't even exist in that universe. Millions of possibilities, millions of me of you in my mind. ... It's a weapon from another dimension. I see multiple possibilities. It's a new beginning, but only for you. I have agonized. I know so much. But I don't want to know anything. Goodbye, Rizavam. This was bound to happen. Thank you, Hyodo Issei, for freeing me. Ali. Perhaps. Issei. Yes, all this time it was you, and it was you thinking more about what was said confirmed it to me. He knew everything to the point of not wanting anything, and he was afraid of something. He was afraid of you. He discovered everything by seeing everything. You, the multiverse, he knew everything, and that knowledge in his mind was already from another plan. Andres. You just forgot that I can't interfere in the multiverse or else there would be a huge disaster. Issei. True, but you forgot something. You told me about the law of balance. Andrew. Smiles. Issei. You said that seeing the circumstances you interfered with for the first time, to maintain the balance you created allies, enemies, subjects, people, or in the case of Vali and me, circumstances in said universes that were not originally there, repairing with them the law of balance, thus saving the multiverse. After that I remembered that you did not tell me what you did in this universe to fill the void. Andres. You really are someone incredible. Issei. You placed the seals on us, you knew all this would happen. Andres. That's right, I'm sorry I couldn't tell you, but I can't risk talking too much about the future. Issei. You made the swords, right? Another dimension does not only refer to one of the 12 dimensions, but to a being whose power is literally from another dimension. Andres. Yes, I gave one to Rizavam, or else I left it in a place where he would find it, and the other one to you. Ali. Why did sealing us help the law of balance? Time. The law of balance requires circumstances that maintain balance in said universe. Sometimes not all of them are good, bad, convincing or even logical, since as Andres said before it is only filling a void. Issei. And it doesn't affect anything that you gave us the keys to break the signal. Andres. No, since it was simply about sealing them, and the seal will slowly go away thanks to the energy created by the swords, so they still can't use 100% of their powers, and sealing you two wasn't the only thing that was needed for the law of balance. Time. The moment Rizavam touched the forbidden knowledge, the fate of his world was sealed. Ali. you're talking about? Andres. The fusion of dimensions, thus creating a dimensionless universe. Issei. I was afraid of that. Andrew. The law of balance is calm now, no matter what happens in your universes, I will not see the need to create circumstances or people to calm or prevent the collapse of the law of balance, in the end everything was resolved. Ali. You mean that's all, there won't be any more problems? Andres. No, if something doesn't happen that affects the multiverse again. Issei. Did you know all this would happen, what happened with Rainer, that I would meet Vali, that I would realize it was you? Andres. I was a little doubtful about the last thing, but yes. Issei. And what will happen now? Andres. Well, this new world is yours to explore and live your new life. I honestly don't know what will happen in the future. A fusion of dimensions leaving a universe without them is something unseen. I dare say that your future offers many variables. Ali. By the way, do you know what happened in the dimensional rift? Andres. No, unfortunately due to the circumstances of the multiverse, not even I know what happened there, I only know that when everything ended you were in Dragon Spine, and I left the sword where I had to leave it, I don't even know if there are more survivors from your world. Ali. I understand. Andres. If you too hate me for my actions, that's your right. Issei. No. You did what you had to do or else everything would be destroyed. You said it, you are not a god. In the end you are imperfect like all of us. Ali. Even though you are being from another plan, I know it must not have been an easy decision for you, but I have to say it. Issei. Me too. Ali. Issei. Thanks for saving our lives. Vali and Issei lowered their heads, Andre's eyes trembled when he saw that to the point that he felt like he was going to cry, he was expecting to be blamed for what he had done, but it was the opposite. Andres. Gosh, you too. Time. Smiles. I have to admit, you created a great multiverse. Chapter 36. Let's live in the present. 10 minutes later. After what was revealed and the emotional moment, Issei and Vali were preparing to leave the place, the same was true for Andres and Time, they had to leave. Vali. So what do we do now? Issei. I have a couple of ideas in mind, I'll tell you later. Andres. In my case, I will look for the second fragment of Rainer in Universe 12. Issei only leveling DXD, maybe when I destroy this first fragment, there is no longer a risk of Rainer returning, but it is still a powerful object, which can cause great disasters. Issei. You will contact my version of that universe for the job. Andres. Although the circumstances are not the best, he is the only one I can ask for the favor. That is incorrect, he is not the only one, and he is not the one who can give you the fragment. At that moment Issei, Vali, Tiempo and Andres heard a voice that left them perplexed. The crack opened above them. Andres. Shocked. It can't be. Issei. What is this feeling? It feels nice. It's not unpleasant. On the contrary, it's completely pleasant. It's like it's a person that I literally love. It's so nice. It's scary. Ali. What is that crack? Time. More than a crack, it is a portal. The portals that connect the universes have long since closed, so to travel between universes, you need a great power capable of tearing or opening space. Slowly a person descended from the sky wrapped in flames, it was a woman with dull golden eyes. Are you looking for this? The woman showed the second fragment of Rainer, at that moment the atmosphere became serious. Andres. I didn't think it would fall into your hands, but a part from me knows that you are aware of what is happening in your universe, because you are the cause of so many changes in the timeline, even more than before all the regressions. This was beneficial to me in some ways. Issei. Regressions. Time. I told them that there are objects that I gave my permission to travel through time, in their world there is an object called the Reincarnation Cup that allows you to go back in time 10 years, the object was created by the Absolute Being, creator of that universe. Issei. Wait, wasn't Andres the creator of the universes? Andres. Yes, he created the multiverse, but what he created were the foundations for the universes, but the individual birth of said universe is as unique as your versions. Time. In some it was a being of great power that created the universe, in others it was a scientific thing like the Big Bang etc. Andres. In this case, the absolute being was a kind of Big Bang, so to speak. After all, no matter how the universe was born, the objective of the universe being created is fulfilled. I put the earth and the seeds, and when they grew, they created their own fruits. Ali. What a strange but accurate analogy. Time. At that time when the absolute being created that object, I felt obliged to give him my permission. Ali. Why an obligation? Andres. Why refusing would lead to a confrontation between the two, and an absolute is at the same level as a quasi-supreme, that is, an absolute being can kill a law, because it has the same level of power. Issei. Shock. That's it. Time. Although that absolute being was not good at combat, he did excel in creation skills, and his creations or what he created could have been annoying to face if he did not give in. Andrew. That's true, after all there are beings who are just a little below the power of an absolute, they are called monarchs and rulers, and this girl here seems to have reached half the power of a monarch. I've had some help, but I'll just continue with my plans anyway. Andres. I see, I'm sure you're going to continue down that path, your family. Shut up, don't you dare, you of all people have no right to tell me anything about my family. Issei. She who plans. Andrew. Nothing good. Ollie. That's not comforting. Andres. She is one of the people who she believes to maintain the law of balance. Issei. Shocked what? Time. That's what a person is like to fill the void. It's all your fault, you know that right? Andres. To maintain the law of balance I had to create people to fill the void. It was then that I saw that she was in few universes naturally, since the beginning of the history of that universe. Then I thought of using her to fill the void in the others, and originally I had planned to use a version of her in this universe to fill the void. That way the fusion of dimensions would have been avoided. Time. But a circumstance like the fusion of dimensions only happens once, while a person is there until death, and that can cause many more problems. In her case she is angry for being something that fills a void, so angry as to destroy her own home. Issei. But why, you put value on your life. You don't know anything value. Do you think I have any value? Perhaps it was in the 10th regression of my world that I realized what I was. I realized that except for my family, all the friends I made forgot me more than once. I tried everything, but nothing worked. Andres. An existence created to just exist has those flaws. Faults, that's what you call them. Since I was born until I die my existence will only be an object of decoration to maintain balance. Andres. I didn't want that, I had to. You had to act to save the multiverse, right? Yes, but don't worry, I will make my existence count in that universe so I don't have to fill that void. Andres. Shocked, it's impossible. Someone like you created to maintain balance will be with that destiny forever. Not if I find a replacement. Andres. Shocked, it can't be. Time. You were the one who used the reincarnation cup one last time, right? Smiles. Yes, I changed the end of my universe using it one last time. I contacted All for One and made him my disciple. Everything he works on is for me. I gave him my help so he could get everything I needed for our great plan. Andres. The monarchs and rulers are powerful beings who remembered each regression, but how did you manage to keep your memories and especially erase the memories of the monarchs and rulers of the last regression? In the last regression, I made contact with absolute beings from other dimensions. I offered them a deal, a new and fun unique universe, where they could have fun like never before. In exchange they would only give me the power of an absolute temporarily, to erase everyone's memories. My work currently pleases them so much that they granted me the strength of half a monarch. Andres. I don't understand what you gain from this deal. If your goal is to find a replacement to fill the void, you shouldn't be looking for someone else unless ... No. You're not going to. Circumstances can also fill the void. Issei. What are you talking about? Time. So that's it, it's definitely dangerous. Ollie. What does the girl mean? Andrew. If you create a circumstance, you will be able to free yourself from being an existence that simply has the purpose of existing by filling that void. For example, a fusion of dimensions like the one that happened in this universe. Issei. Volley. Shocked. Issei. You will destroy your own world, your family, your friends. Family, friends, haha. From the beginning my birth was a mistake, something that was only needed to fill a void. If nothing had happened in the multiverse from the beginning I would not have been born. I am not necessary, but you cannot know how that feels, because you are necessary. For some reason the girl's words made Issei feel bad, it was as if he felt her pain. Andres. You won't back down. No, that's why I got this fragment for you, as it is a business weapon for my plans. Andrew. What do you want? I want you to give me the power of a full monarch, I will need it for my future plans. Issei. Wait, you're not going to give it to him knowing what he'll do besides, you can't interfere in universes or people if there's no event that forces you to do so. Time. She is different. Issei. Hey. Time. Its sole purpose is to exist, regardless of whether what it does alters history or not, whether it lives or dies, simply by being that type of existence with that purpose, makes it an exception to the rule. Issei. It can't be. Andres. If I refuse and don't get Rainer's fragment, more problems may arise, and if I accept, I can condemn Universe 12 Issei solo leveling DXD to destruction. I'm not interested in the multiverse, I've made my goals clear, accept, and I'll return to my universe, we all win, you have your fragment and avoid a multiversal disaster, and I finally get a true purpose, I'll finally be real, and I'll be alive. Andres. You were always alive. But I could never really live. Andres. Shakes his hand then come. Shakes his hand from him. At that moment Andre's eyes lit up and the girl's eyes shone even more brightly. Andrew. It's done. Hands him the fragment, all yours. Issei. Wait, reconsider. Always trying to help Issei, but you just can't help in this. Ollie. This isn't over, I'm sure our versions will realize your plans. Issei. Yes, I'm sure we can stop you. They won't be able to, not even the Issei of that universe has noticed my existence as an enemy, he doesn't know who I am, and I always acted differently in front of him so that he doesn't notice and he would never suspect me. Issei. What? Why don't you tell them who the author is? Andres, who lowered his head, raised it to look into her eyes with a sad and regretful look. Andres. To fill the void, I have created two people, both are sisters, Hyodo Issei's sisters. Issei. What? Andrew. This girl's name is Isara Hyodo. Hearing those words, Issei and Vali's eyes went blank. Isara. You understand now, there is no way they can stop me, they must have many questions, but I don't think Issei and Vali are the ones who should ask them to me. After his words he left without a trace, he had obtained what he wanted. Issei. In other universes I have a sister. Andrew. Yes. Vali. She'll just leave, like that. Andres. There is nothing we can do now, it all depends on the people of Universe 12, let's hope they have luck in the future. Issei. Wow. Ollie. Are you okay, Issei? Issei. I just hope that myself from that universe can save her. 2 days later. Ollie and Issei were staying at a hotel in Liu. Ollie. We experienced many things in the short time we arrived. Issei. No, I won't argue with you. Ollie. In the end all our questions were answered. Issei. Not all of them, we still need to know what happened in the dimensional gap and how you survived. Ollie. That's true, do you think there are more survivors? Issei. I won't say that I hope to see all my friends alive, but if there are some acquaintances at least it will be better for both of us, we won't feel so out of our minds in this world. Ollie. It's true, by the way you told me that the goddess caught you and locked you in a kind of cube. Issei. Yes, why? Ollie. Didn't you catch Rias and Akeno? Issei. I know what you're thinking, but I appeared alone in this world, that means she possibly killed them. Ollie. I'm sorry. Issei. Don't worry, old debts will be collected in the future, now let's focus on the present. Ollie. Where will we go? Issei. Well, I think we should go to Inazuma, I must continue helping Lumen on her journey. Zhongli. I don't recommend it. At that time Zhongli would appear. Issei. Zhongli. Zhongli. Excuse me, but I heard your conversation, currently going to Inazuma is impossible, a fierce storm surrounds the nation, I'm afraid it will be a while before you can go. Issei. It's a shame. Zhongli. But I don't know if it's safe to go either. Issei. What do you mean? Zhongli. Something is happening in Inazuma, the Archon Electro has issued a decree to capture all the bearers of visions, the situation is tense in Inazuma, only one thing can be seen in the distance, and that is war. Ollie. Looks like things are about to get exciting, I wonder what kind of adventures await us. Then Inazuma. Elseword. It's amazing that we accepted the job of providing weapons to the inhabitants of Watatsumi Island for their war. Raven. They have an internal war in their country, it is not up to us to take sides or judge who is right and wrong, it is simply their business, and we only fulfill requests for money, which we need for ourselves and our companions when we return. Sonia. We already gave them the weapons, let's take a boat and leave for Sumeru, I'm sure that with you and Sare, getting through the storm won't be a problem. Raven. It feels good to be back home. Sonia. I honestly don't know, it's been a long time. At that moment, the girl who was wearing the funeral attire and did not let anything of her body be seen arrived. Elseword. How are the surroundings, Sare? Sare. All clear, we can go. Sonia. Good. Sare. By the way, Sonia, I'll take off these clothes. I think that in Sumeru it wouldn't be bad to show my face to avoid problems, and if something bad happens, I can go to the other nations. Sonia. Are you sure? Sare. Yes, I will also use my real name. Raven. Although the inspiration to create that name was easy. Sare. What do you mean? Raven. Come on, it couldn't have been easier. At that moment the girl would take off the outfit she was wearing. Raven. After all you only turned your name around, Sare, or should I say Rias Gremory. Rias. Smiles well, what can I tell you? Sometimes you don't have to think about things so much. Arc 3. Mystery solved and new adventures. Finished. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.